Welcome in, everybody. Happy Friday to you. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Rindle. That's Ben Higgins, friendly neighborhood sports anchor. And some really sad news to open the show with this morning, kind of kicking around how we actually wanted to talk about this. But when I logged in this morning, I had seen a statement on Twitter from the Columbus Blue Jackets, who you guys may remember we adopted as kind of a bit, our Columbus Blue Jackets. We adopted it as kind of a bit. We thought, that's the team we know the least about in professional sports. And we had some fun with it, man. We talked to a couple of their riders and stuff. They sent us some gear. I saw this pop up this morning, and one of their best players, Johnny Gaudreau, is that how you pronounce it? Was killed overnight with his brother. And they were it was the night before their sister's wedding. Their sister is supposed to get married today. And she lost both of her brothers. They were riding their bikes, and they got hit by a driver. And just absolutely devastating news in the world of hockey this morning. And everybody in the YouTube chat is talking about it. Just a horrible, horrible way to start your day, certainly. And just, what do you say to something like that? What do you say? I mean, I just can't imagine what their family's going through right now. It just gutted me when I saw it.
Obviously, we're not huge hockey followers, but Gaudreau, really good player. Many years with the Calgary Flames, and then last 2 seasons with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Like a 6-time All-Star, was the top player in college hockey at Boston College. Won the Lady Byng Award, which is the sportsmanship nice guy award. I mean, seemed like everybody really, really liked him, and just what a devastating. I saw that when I logged on this morning as well.
Lost. He's married. He's got 2 kids, small children. It was just horrible. I mean, it's just horrible. So, it's again, I like you said, we're not huge hockey people, but that is such a gnarly story breaking out the world of sports this morning. A lot of fans in the chat too talking about it, and just said, man, it is a tough situation going on right now. It was a drunk driver, by the way, arrested on 2 counts. So, I mean, look, there's a lot of lives that have been ruined today. If that's some, use that as a cautionary tale, I guess. It's just so sad, man. 31 years old, and he and his brother passed away. So, shout out, Paulie, I guess. No.
Shout out to his family.
There you go.
Ouch.
Shout out to his family.
Double.
There was 2 of them.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
All right, a little tougher to get our heads right.
It's
like
very
said,
much
to
is
start a day like that. And then, of course, it wasn't all that fun of a baseball game yesterday, obviously, in St. Louis.
Oh, that was so long ago. We don't even have to talk about it.
Yeah, it is. I do. If you're gonna lose one, you lose in the morning. So that it eases the sting a little bit. Certainly, I think my 6-year-old summed it up fairly well. We won 2, they won 2, and that's not bad, is what he said. We each won 2, and that's not bad. And I said, you might be a genius, the little Socrates. And I just said, all right, yeah, we won 2, they won 2. It's not bad.
Yeah, ultimately, it doesn't matter if you go win, loss, win, right. Win, loss, win. You win the last one, you tend to feel better about it, but ultimately it's a 4-game split. No matter how you win or lose, you feel like it's a missed opportunity with pitchers like Dylan Cease or Joe Musgrove and Michael King the last 2 days, where you feel like, oh, you definitely could have taken 3, maybe even 4 in that series. But we'll talk about it. I'll say it right out. I didn't want to tweet it out, put it out in the universe yesterday, and I think I've watched enough Padres baseball every single game this year to know this is a tired
gassed
ball club.
No,
and that's not
question.
They'll never admit it.
They did, actually.
Jurickson said it. Jurickson said it.
He said, I'm tired.
Mike Schilt won't, which is fine. You don't ever want to show weakness necessarily, but it's a brutal stretch, a brutal road trip, a brutal series in the heat. And I get it, yes, St. Louis is also playing in that same heat, but they're all not playing 18 games in 18 days. They're not on the road. And they looked a little tired to me yesterday. Maybe for one of the first time all year. They looked tired.
It's the epitome of the dog days.
Yeah. I thought they still put together some good at-bats. They hit some atom balls and didn't get much luck in terms of, they only struck out 3 times. So their BABIP was insanely bad yesterday, or at least 3 times against Sonny Gray. But we'll talk about the game. But I think they're tired. Hopefully, it was a good flight. Just sleep on the plane a little bit. Get to your hotel in Tampa. You get to sleep in today. You don't have a game until this evening. I mean, it's not an off day, but at least it's 24 plus hours between games. The end of the last game and the start of the next one. That's something for this team to try to regroup with and come back and do what you can this series. My expectations aren't they're going to roll into Tampa and just sweep by the Rays and come home victorious champions. This is going to be a tough series in Tampa at the end of a tough stretch of 18-18.
Yeah, very, very tough stretch for the boys. I was reading A.J. Cassavell's piece that came out after the game yesterday. Angry August is what Michael King called it. Manny said, this is the definition of dog days. And there is something, and we'll talk to Schulte later at 9. There is something in a baseball player. I want to ask him about it. I'm trying to figure out the best way to ask him. But when the calendar turns, and the calendar will turn this weekend to September, there's a thing. It's like visceral in these guys. August comes, and they're like, oh, boy, if we can just weather August. And they've done way better than weathering August. They've kicked some serious ass in August. They have. And so I think, mission accomplished there. Let's see how it goes in Tampa. But, yeah, man, that's from the players' mouths. That's not the flagship morning show host making excuses for these guys. They all said it. Like, August sucks. It's a terrible, terrible month for every team in baseball, seemingly. So definitely a grindy series in St. Louis, and looking forward to getting after it in Tampa. And they're going to have their work cut out for them, Ben. But you were talking about sleep, sleeping on the plane. I think I have figured out the best way to get a really good night's rest, like your old pal Woods did last night.
Really?
Oh, phenomenal. Slept for about 45 minutes.
Good 45 minutes?
Good, solid 45 minutes. When you lay down in bed, I want you to think about every bad thing you've ever done. Then think about every bad thing that potentially could happen. And then think about all of your loved ones if something bad happened to them. That's exactly what the old noggin was rolling through last night at about 9:30 as I laid down in bed.
And that led to a good night's sleep.
Did you not hear me say I slept for 45 minutes? I slept for 45 minutes.
It was a good 45 minutes.
It was a good 45 minutes.
But 45 minutes.
45 minutes. I woke up this morning and I was punch drunk. I mean, I woke up and was like, I didn't know where I was. It was the worst night's sleep I think a human being has ever had, unless they were on crystal meth or something. Like, I had such a horrific evening. And I could not shut it off. I couldn't stop thinking about bad things. I couldn't breathe through it. I thought I was having a heart attack at one point. And I was like, man, this is...
So like an anxiety attack almost, but while you're trying to sleep.
I've had panic attacks before where it feels like my chest is caving in and my ears get clogged. That's when I have one. And I didn't have that. But I did. I was filled with anxiety, no question. And I just was laying there trying to breathe through it. Finally passed out at really at 1. 1 or 2, and then woke up and was just like, this is brutal. This is absolutely brutal. Yeah, Elisa said that's like the parent of a newborn sleep. That's what it reminded me of, is those days. But those days, I had a dude screaming bloody murder at all times. And so, but last night it was just, I was thinking about my wife, my kids, my parents, my loved ones. I thought about all the bad stuff I've ever done. It all came rush, and I'm like, why? Why is this happening right now? So that was not a good way to sleep.
You're a good person. Good things deserve to come your way.
Are you sure? Are you positive?
Just take a deep breath. It's fine.
Because I don't think so.
No, it's fine.
So I was laying there last night.
You definitely, whatever you were before, you're a good person now. I'm confident that I have seen it up close. And you're a good dad. Oh. Mostly a good husband, it seems like.
You asked
Not all the time, but most of the time.
I try. At least I try. I do try.
Doesn't mean bad things won't happen. They will, because, life happens, like what we just talked about this morning.
Terrible, man.
But whatever, you have a community that will support you.
Thank you, guys.
Something happened to you, we'd all be there for Hannah and your boys. It'll be okay.
One of my boys. I get it. It's fine.
Yeah.
You'd be there for both boys. Ben would be there for one boy. It's totally fine. We had our member stream last night, and both boys made an appearance last night. And everybody in the chat was like, "Oh no, look, it's Taylor."
Woods leaning into Taylor and going, "See, there's Ben. He doesn't like you."
He doesn't like you,
Taylor
Taylor.
told me to eat ass.
It was a fun one, man. It was a really, really fun one. But, oh, man. So, yeah, Eric says I'm having an existential crisis. Yeah, it wasn't that. I'm very happy with my place in life and the world and everything else and very grateful, full of gratitude. It was just one of those things where it was like a snowball. You think about one thing, I'm like, man, I can't believe I did that. And then you're like, ooh, you also did that, and then that, and then that. And what if something happens to Bo? What if something happens to Taylor? What if something happens to Hannah? And it just, my parents, both my parents, they're listening right now. They're driving to Austin to see my brother. I mean, both my parents are going through it a little bit, health-wise. So I was a wreck. And I woke up this morning, I looked at Hannah, I go, today's going to be an S show. I mean, on the air, it's going to be an S show. So we'll see what happens. We'll do our very best. But it did, listen, you have a night like that. You read about that story this morning. Certainly puts into perspective a little bit a baseball game, right? It really puts into perspective a baseball game. And I think that's a good place to start here on a Friday.
Yeah, good perspective. And, just remember to appreciate the good moments as they come. Don't take anything for granted because we are not guaranteed tomorrow. So enjoy today, and but also plan for tomorrow because you'll probably be here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like people always say, "Well, you better live for today because you're guaranteed it tomorrow." You kind of do have to plan for tomorrow a little bit.
If I really lived every day like it was my last day on Earth, you guys wouldn't. Nobody would want to see that.
Pretty soon it would be.
Is that a good bit? Live each day. We'll do it for 5 days straight, all of us. It's just an orgiastic. We're eating. There's people in here feeding us grapes and pouring wine all over us. You can't do it.
You kind of do have to plan for tomorrow.
You physically and mentally cannot live each day like it's your last day on Earth. You can't do it. You can't do it.
Just a final meal every single day.
What is Ben? He's just at the golf course from sun up till sundown. Eating fine food.
No, you gotta go fancy restaurants
Fancy
too.
restaurant?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can have them DoorDash it to you. It's just golf. If they tell you, Ben, you got 1 day left. And, take the family stuff out of it. Your pleasure. So what would you do? Big meal and golf, right?
Probably, yeah.
I don't think I can say mine on the air. So, yeah. Paulie, what about you?
I'm probably leaning towards more you than
More mine than
him.
Ben. I'm not going to be on the golf course.
Probably not golfing on my last day.
No.
Go out there and shoot a 101.
That's a good on your last. Just
super angry at myself.
Who wants to be frustrated with golf on their last day
and exercise, like walking around,
chunking putts or chunking chips and missing putts on your last day on the planet? I don't think so, dude.
Good point.
I do think though, maybe next year
just 4 putting
on your last day on the
snapping
planet.
clubs, tossing them.
I think next year for Ben and Wood's summer vacation, we go, all right, we're gonna live each day like it's our last. Tune in. It's gonna be nuts. All
right, it's a FRIAR Friday. We will set the menu for the program when we come back and get things started after a little bit of a rough start today. But we're glad everyone's with us. Good to see all the Tier 1s. Good to see Welsh FRIAR here in San Diego.
Yeah, look at
congratulations.
that.
He made it last night into the member stream and now here and getting ready for his Petco Park experience when the Padres come home after this weekend. That'll be a lot of fun. We will talk about it all. Coming up first, Kelly's got traffic, and then we'll be back with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Padres in Tampa Bay tonight, opener of a 3-game series, the end of the stretch. Well, technically Monday is the end of the 18-game and 18-day stretch. Labor Day at home, and then they get Tuesday off.
Yeah, they do. They play
Detroit.
Detroit, one game.
Yeah.
And then they're off Tuesday. Oh, man, that is a rough one. That is a really, really rough one. Gnarly. So you've got 4 games left.
I think you'll have the emotion of getting back home. Big crowd probably carries you through that day, and then you crash
Cross-country flight
Monday night because it's a day game or a kind of an afternoon game on Monday.
Cross-country flight on Sunday. Then you're right back at it Monday afternoon.
But you're home.
You
got the fans to carry you through for one day.
Yeah.
And then you get home Monday night after the game. You just crash through Tuesday. And then you show up again Wednesday ready to go for the final month of the season.
Yeah. There's no BP.
No.
Don't even think about
one of the things I wanted to kind of ask Mike Schilt about today is how do you manage that? Like, do you talk to your guys and, like, maybe we need to do a little extra rest? Hey, don't work so hard here.
Yeah.
You don't want to grind in the cages, but it might be a better idea. Show up late to the game today. No early BP or anything like that. How he's going to handle this weekend after what was undoubtedly a grueling 4-game series in St. Louis. We'll talk about the game and the series coming up in our Padres wrap-up in our next segment. I don't think there's a lot to necessarily dissect from yesterday's game, strategic decisions and what have you. It was simply
literally the only thing I saw that I questioned, other than the lack of offense, was why. What? And it didn't. I don't even think it really matters. But literally, the only thing I saw is I go, "Oh, that's weird." Bryce Johnson wasn't playing right field. Peralta, literally, you watched him run out of gas in right field. I mean, he ran out of gas. He got glove on that ball and just couldn't squeeze it, man. Just exhausted. Looked like a dude playing. Looked like a guy in adult league playing the 6th game of a tournament. Just no legs under him whatsoever. That's the only thing I thought. But I the other one is Mason McCoy instead of Tyler Wade potentially.
Would he have made that play? They called it an error.
That was an error.
It was at him, but
Paulie makes that play.
It was a tough play. I mean, it wasn't an easy play.
It was not a
hard one-hop shot.
No.
Big hop.
I mean,
ate him alive.
Kimmy makes that.
They did call it an error.
Yeah, it was an error. Kimmy makes that play in heels.
Probably.
Yeah, in Gene Simmons' giant heels.
Awesome King
makes that play easily.
So we'll talk about the game coming up. 7 o'clock, Paulie has a little surprise for everyone. Do I tease it now, or do we wait until 7 to reveal what Paulie's been working on?
Let's just say everyone, including Ben, especially Ben, will like the 7 a.m. segment.
Yeah, it's nice to get a little good vibes in here today. Yeah.
That's true. We do need to change the vibes.
Where's the roach, by the way?
I was just about to say that.
We blew this.
Apparently, we did not kiss the rally roach yesterday. I thought we did.
We didn't.
But we didn't. So if you want to just blame us for the
I'll wear it.
For the loss.
It's a shame if they lose.
Then go right ahead.
Sorry, buddy.
It probably will be the first thing Mike Schilt brings up is, did you guys not kiss the rally roach? Because he strikes me as someone who will ascribe the successes of his teams to a small plastic roach in a radio studio in San Diego rather than to the hard work and dedication of his own players. But we'll see what he has to say. That'll come up in the second half of the program. Before that, though, 8 o'clock, Jordan Schusterman will join us. Cespedes Family Barbecue, our weekly segment, brought to you by our friends at Grand Ole Barbecue to talk baseball. We've got more giveaways today. We've been giving away tickets to Kansas all week long in concert at Humphreys by the Bay on September 22nd. You can get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com or win them when you hear this sounder at some point on the program today.
This is going to be Carry On My Wayward Son. They'll be truth and you were gone.
That's all you need to hear is our minor league play-by-play announcer. When you hear that, call 833-288-0973.
Not right now.
833-288-0973. Yes, not right now. That was just a prep so you know what to listen for later in the show. Next time, though, absolutely, you call in, chance to win. Ryle report and then our manager's report with Mike Schilt at 9 o'clock this morning. Look ahead to the series against the Tampa Bay Rays coming up at 9:35. And then we'll turn things over to Annie and Elston, and that's the menu for our program today. I can't believe we forgot to kiss the rally roach.
I can't either, man. That's not like us, and that's on us. So we'll take full responsibility for it. Okay.
Absolutely.
I like this thread that's going on in our YouTube chat. You can watch us on YouTube. A lot of people do that every morning, and you can participate. But Welsh Fryer, as we mentioned, our buddy Tom, I think he's been to the States before. Am I wrong?
I think that sounds right.
But this is like a big trip because he's going to get to see some baseball games and things like that. Maybe this is his first time. He'll let us know. He's already gotten rooked at the vending machine. He just paid $5. Yeah, he was here long ago. He paid $5 for a Sprite from a vending machine.
A lot of money.
He's our little Welsh rube. He's just going to get taken advantage of. Welsh, if a girl in L.A. on the side of the road leans into your car, she's not actually looking for an actual date, okay?
She doesn't like
She
you.
doesn't like you, all right? You're going to get taken advantage of. Just so you know, Hollywood and Vine.
What if you just did want a date? Like,
What if she actually wanted a date?
Yeah, let's go. We can go to like, Applebee's
Mel's
and have a nice
Diner.
dinner.
She's a
and-
sucker for accents.
Yeah, she loves the accent. Yeah, so listen, take it easy out here in America, man. There's a lot of parasites out here, dude. They'll take advantage of a young Welsh boy out making his real first trip as a man. So just be careful as you're out here. Yeah, if you see a sign, as Diesel says, that says massage, be very careful when you walk in. All right, it's not a lesson you want to learn the hard way.
See, now,
Samfire plus Gwingis go get it. Queen Drobot, Lantasilio, go.
I think it's interesting because he's coming from a country where he can legally drink.
Yes.
And now he is in a country where he can no longer. I feel like there should be an exception. If you live somewhere and you're already of legal drinking
Grandfathered
age,
in, yes.
you should be able to just carry that right over to where you're visiting. Because you can't come on vacation, then all of a sudden you're allowed to do less on vacation than you were at home. That doesn't make any sense at all.
That makes less than 0 cents. I can literally go to a pub and have a Guinness with my buddies.
He's like,
like
I'm
going
the
to-
local drunk back home.
It's like
I'm on the 10-day cure over here.
It's like you go to Hawaii, but you can't go to the beach.
Yeah,
no beach allowed. No beach allowed when you go to Hawaii.
I think actually Hawaiians would favor that rule. I think
Probably.
if you put that in front of their government, I think they would stamp that ASAP.
Signs that say no tourists allowed at the beaches for sure. So
That is fantastic, man. All right, well, don't get taken advantage of. Yeah, Alex says women are so nice here. Yeah, exactly. Just be very careful. Keep your wits about you, especially in L.A. Oh man, they'll take advantage of a young Welsh boy.
all right, we'll get to our Padres wrap-up highlights. Quickly get through yesterday's 4-1 loss to the St. Louis Cardinals. Wrap up the series. That is next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, the Rally Roach has been kissed, so not on us anymore tonight. We are set to go. Padres hopefully can bounce back from their second 2-game losing streak. Post All-Star break, this hour on Ben and Woods and all of our baseball coverage presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits, still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. We'll go through yesterday's game. Got the highlights for you. A little bit.
It'll be a quick one.
Got the highlights for you, lowlights in our Padres wrap-up right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by MTS, reminding you that trolleys run every 15 minutes or better. Just one problem to mention here, guys. Solo vehicle accident, south on 805 before Murray Ridge. It's over the right shoulder. Don't let traffic drag your day down, whether you're headed to the office or game day. Go the easy way with MTS. Trolleys run every 15 minutes or better throughout the day. Learn more and plan your trolley trip at sdmts.com. That's sdmts.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they lose.
Oh, a shame indeed.
It's a complete crap.
Oh, I did not like that.
Here are the lowlights from yesterday's game.
Are you kidding me?
Boo.
It's the Padres wrap-up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
We'll give it 16 minutes of salt, and then we'll, get back on the bump and figure it out.
It's not your fault.
Pitch, Baker swings, chops it to shortstop, charged by Wade, he's got it. Off balance throw to first is in time, but Burleson comes in to score. An RBI ground out for Luke and Baker, and a 1-0 Cardinal lead. From King is hit in the air deep down the left field line. Profar not going to get there. That's a fair ball. It'll run up against the wall. Arenado comes in to score an unearned run. RBI double, Paul Goldschmidt, and now 2-0 St. Louis. Jackson Merrill leads off, swings to the first pitch, sends it in the air to deep center field. Scott is back. This one gonna go onto the grass in the batter's eye for Jackson Merrill. 20th of the year for the rookie, and the Padres are on the board. It's 2-1. 1-1 launched in the air down the left field line. If it's fair, it's gone, and it is. A home run for Mason Webb. Second hit of the afternoon for the Cardinals shortstop, and they have re-extended the lead. It's now 3-1. Through Herrera, lined into right center, and a base hit. Dupar will come in and score, and the Cardinals have added on 4-1 here in the 8th. 0-1 pitch hit hard up the middle, backhanded at second by Donovan. Long throw to first is in time, and the ball game is over. Another 1-2-3 ninth inning for Ryan Helsley, and the Cardinals earn a split here this afternoon with a 4-1 victory over the Padres.
Overall, I just love the way our guys went about this whole series. Grit squad on display. You don't have to win to have heart. Do a consolation prize. These guys, they bat their tails off, man. These guys posted and gave us everything they had every day, and tough environment a little bit, no excuses, but took some good at bats against Gray. Jackson took a swing on him, had some opportunities, just couldn't cash in.
We got beat by Young Gravy and the St. Louis Cardinals. I thought for sure once they rolled Young Gravy out there.
Did they get him a pitch hitting appearance at the end of the game? I wasn't sure.
It might as well have. But yeah, they rolled him out there. Dude, poor guy. I mean, he's a rapper, I guess, YouTube, TikToker, whatever. Goes out there to throw out the first pitch. It looked like it was a practice throw. It looked like it was a practice throw before the game. No, this was actually game time. There was like 3 people in the bleachers.
Did he even throw out a first pitch?
He did.
Because I saw they also had Chris Long throw out the first pitch too.
Yeah, he did. He did throw out a first pitch. There were 14 people there, man. It was
100 degrees.
It was officially, even though they said it's like 26,000, which it wasn't. It was, even that was the lowest crowd in the history of New Busch Stadium. They've never had a smaller crowd
at New Busch.
At New Busch.
Bush.
You think Old Busch brought in more people than New Busch?
Apparently.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense.
I don't get it, but...
You think, yeah,
It's not like the Cardinals are horrible. They're 500.
500 team.
500 team. They're probably expected to be somewhere around here. This isn't shocking.
Guess what? They played 500 baseball against the San Diego Padres.
And they did.
This
the
series.
Padres split their last 2 4-game series against the Mets and the Cardinals, which obviously They'd been playing better than that, but they're also not giving any ground. They're 7-7, 14 games through this stretch of 18 games in 18 days. Yeah, well, you might hope for better.
Yeah.
You also go, that's not a disaster.
You still have a chance. You still have a chance to come home with a winning road trip, which is all you want.
And 9-9 through that stretch is not the end of the world either. If they can just manage to win 2 of the next 4 games, love it if they could win more. But that's where they stand right now. They continue to be second in the National League wild card race, 1 game behind the Arizona Diamondbacks, who lost to the Mets 3-2 yesterday. They are 2 games ahead of the Atlanta Braves, who
Does that
lost
make
to the
it better
Phillies.
or worse in your brain?
What?
What?
That the Diamondbacks lost. Like, on one hand, like it's glass half full, glass half empty. On one hand, you're like, well, we didn't, we lost, and at least they lost as well. Or
That's
you
how
see that they lost, and you're like, God, that was a missed opportunity.
There's no difference.
There's really no
If you
difference.
win and they win, then
Yeah.
you just keep pace. If
Yeah.
you lose and you lose, then it's the same thing.
Yeah, and how many games behind the Dodgers are we in the West? 5?
5 now, and
Yeah,
the D-backs are 4. That's looking.
That's
It's kind of almost out of reach.
you do have some games against them the last week of the year. I've resigned. I don't want to say I've resigned myself, but like I feel like you're a playoff team. So great, let's figure out how to best maximize everybody's health and abilities. I think it's fair to be concerned. There's some talk in the chat, like scored 2 runs early and then were shut out for 17 innings or something. Yeah, I think that's absolutely a fair. How many hits yesterday? 3. 3 knocks yesterday. Yeah, that's tough. This offense has been pretty prolific this season, so that's uncharacteristic.
They got out hit in every game
They did.
by the Cardinals, even though they won 2 of them. The Cardinals out hit them, and there really aren't as many, hot guys in the lineup as there were just a couple of weeks ago. Jurickson Profar.
I think they're still attractive guys in the lineup.
Jurickson Profar's cooled off, though, for sure.
Yeah.
Jake continues to be in kind of a moderate slump here in the second half of the season. You're not getting much from the bottom of the order right now.
Yeah.
I
mean, think about it, though. Like, Profar's had massive games on this trip. Jake had a massive knock to help you win a ball game the other night. These guys aren't.
No, they're not doing nothing.
Yeah.
But they're not, they're not hitting at a 300 clip.
No.
So you're not collecting all those hits that you had been. Xander Bogaerts is really scuffling.
Yep.
He didn't even start yesterday. Had a quick 3-pitch strikeout as his only appearance as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning. So if you're looking for like actual reasons for concern, a cooled off offense is certainly one of them. The other, I would say, is a laboring Michael King.
Yeah.
And, he wasn't bad. He didn't give up any earned runs, 2 unearned runs because of the error by Tyler Wade, but he walked 4, threw 103 pitches in 4 1/3 innings.
Yeah.
That's not what they're hoping for, at least from Michael King. And he acknowledged it after the game, said just wasn't efficient, needed to get more quick outs. It wasn't what I, looking for personally in a start. He wasn't horrible. The velocity is still fine.
Yeah.
In fact, it's up a tick. I think I read the spin rate maybe a slight bit down, but Mike Schilt didn't see really any difference from the Michael King who's pitched all year long. He just didn't quite have the command. Just gave up, 6 hits. Not a disastrous start by any stretch of the imagination. Every game this series, the Padres gave up, I think, 4, 4, 4, and 5. So really, when they scored 7, they won the first 2. When they didn't score the last 2 games, they lost. But the pitching was pretty consistent throughout the whole series.
Yeah, Lisa just stole my line. She said, never eating corn again. Me neither. In solidarity of our San Diego Padres, I will never eat corn again. It was, look, when you look at the schedule and you go, we got 4 in St. Louis at the end of August, who doesn't sign up for a split there? Everybody does. Everybody takes it. And again, you went up against Sonny Gray, who's no slouch by any stretch.
And he was sharp yesterday.
He was really sharp. So I just don't care. Like, it doesn't bother me really in the slightest. Now, you got a tall order this weekend in Tampa Bay in that you're going to be facing 3 really good arms. But, we've handled guys like that before. So it should be a good challenge.
They've also traded away some of their good bullpen pieces.
They have.
We've got one of them.
Yeah, we do.
Their lineup is not, that fearsome all the way through because of, the way they don't spend money and the way they do trade away. So, this is a doable series. You're inside, I'm sure, even though it's the weirdest kind of unusual stadium in baseball and you don't play indoors much, I don't think anyone's going to mind going inside to some air conditioning for the next 3 days as opposed to playing out in the heat and humidity of St. Louis. So you've got that to look forward to over the next 3 days.
Yeah, win the Rays series, come home, and start your series against the Tigers. I guess we'll miss Skubal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think we're going to miss Skubal, so that's always a good thing.
Especially with a day off in the middle of the series.
Yeah, and like you said, that's what I saw yesterday on Twitter. I need to go back and double check. Apparently, Twitter is not 100% infallible, Ben. So I did see that we were going to miss Skubal, but yeah, hopefully that's the case. Yeah, man, it's let's turn the calendar here and get through this series and get on home, and that's it. It's not that big a deal. You split a series.
He's pitching Saturday.
He is pitching Saturday. Good. Yeah, so we'll miss him. Yeah, good. He's really good.
Technically, if they wanted to bring him back on Thursday, they could.
They could.
But they would be skipping someone's turn in the rotation if they did that. And they're not totally out of it. They've got like a 5% chance to make the playoffs still. But that's still one series in advance. You got to finish out this road trip with Tampa Bay. Again, the Dodgers did win last night 6-3 over the Baltimore Orioles. They've taken 2 out of 3. They're really not showing any signs of giving ground at this point.
No, they look
and
good.
This weekend, you've got the 4 games between the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks, which means there are 4 losses in that series. How will they be distributed? We'll find out. But if the Padres can win, the next 4, 3 of the next 4, they will make up ground likely on both teams, at least on one of the 2 teams. Mathematically, that is true. But it's also impossible to really gain a bunch of ground on both teams when they're playing each other. And when you're behind both teams, it just means you're going to be 4 games closer to the end of the season and really not much closer. I guess if you wanted to win the division, you're cheering for the Diamondbacks to sweep the Dodgers and the Padres to sweep the Rays. So you'll stay a game behind Arizona, and you'd pick up 3 or 4 games on the standings on the Dodgers.
Yes.
But what are the odds that that's going to happen? That's a long shot scenario. The other way, if the Dodgers take 3 out of 4, maybe you pass the Diamondbacks, you got the wild card lead, but you're still probably 4, 5, 6 games behind the Dodgers at that point in the season. And at that point, there really is not enough time, barring a collapse by the Dodgers, which doesn't look like it's happening.
And you can't bet on that.
To come back and win the division.
Again, just handle your business. Handle your business. Manage the health of your players. Have guys fresh. All of that. I mean, it's a big month for that. I would ask Mike today, if I don't think he'll answer the question, is like, how do you reconcile that? How do you handle, like, I'm gonna need to get Pro a couple days off. And they have days off built in, but there's guys in the bullpen that could really use some extra rest. There's guys you want to go into the playoffs, and what's our percentage this morning? 94, 96%, something like that. Yeah. So you want to go into the playoffs, Benny, firing on all cylinders. Guys are fresh, they're ready to go. You do get the sense from hearing from the players that the minute this thing turns over to September, it's go time. And I think a lot of the teams that are in the races right now, I think they all feel the same way. So going to be good, going to be fun. Let's keep the faith a little bit. Flush, it's a split. We didn't get swept. We split a series. So not that big a deal.
So that's
94.8%.
94.8.
So and that is basically the chances of the Mets catching the Padres, because they're the only team that really is within striking distance. So and Kevin Acee kind of broke it down for the Padres the rest of the way. For instance, if the Padres go 500, which they just played 500 the last 8 days, and we were pretty disappointed with it. But let's say they continue this disappointing trend of 500 baseball all the way to the end of the season. They go 13-13 the rest of the way. The Mets would need to go 19-9, which is a really, really good clip to catch a 500 Padres team. I mean, even if the Padres went 11-15, the Mets would still need to go 17-11. They need to win basically every series going forward, even if the Padres play bad baseball the rest of the way.
You're doing it again.
What?
You're doing it again.
Math?
Yes.
This is Kevin Acee's math. I'm just reading it this time.
He's doing it again.
So, again, I'm just trying to illustrate that the Padres
We're good. We're
are
fine.
in a good position.
Yes. Thank you to a good July, a great second half. Everybody's fine. You're going full Will hunting. on us this morning. Full.
And
Will
you've got some
Hunting.
tough games left. You've got the Astros. Obviously, the Dodgers and Diamondbacks at the end are playing well. But you also have the White Sox still for 3. Hopefully you can manage to win, a couple of those, later in the season. So, the Padres remain in good position. Would it have been nice to take 3 out of 4? Of course, it would have been really nice to win that series. But again, I thought they looked tired. It's not
absolutely yes.
Doesn't mean that they should have done more conditioning in spring training. No, it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they've played 130 6 games this season, and they are in a huge stretch where there's no days off, and they're playing in some of the most oppressive heat and humidity in America right now, or were the last 4 days. You're not going to look your absolute best in that scenario.
Yep, I agree. I mean, it's such a valid point that you make. And again, I mean, this is not us being homers. This is from their mouths. They're gassed, and that's fine. That's fine. But you got to figure out how to dial it up against Tampa Bay, Benny, and win a couple of these games, because this is a good challenge, because the guys that you're facing, they're playoff caliber starters in Pepio, Shane Baz, those guys. Taj Bradley's been really good. Like, these are 3 nasty pitchers you're going to face. So it's not the recipe for a struggling offense, but if there's one thing this team has been able to do, it's put balls in play against guys like that all year.
Right. And, they're just going to have to be themselves.
Yeah, don't change a thing.
And I don't think they got away from being themselves in this series. They didn't strike out a ton. They weren't making great contact against Sonny Gray, and he's a good pitcher.
Yep.
But they gave up a lot of ground ball singles the whole series too. They balls for the Cardinals found some holes that the Padres hits did not. That is going to happen in a baseball season. That's why no one wins every game.
Yeah.
No matter how good your team is, you
100%.
can't possibly keep up the clip that the Padres were on post All-Star break for the rest of the season. You just can't. Congratulations to Jackson Merrill for continuing to solidify his Rookie of the Year favorite status with his 20th home run of the season. 20.
That
wasn't even in my wildest
6.
dreams. I really did.
6 was my number. I will say this, though, Benny, I'm going to give you a lot of credit, because I think Paulie and I mocked you mercilessly when they called him up. Probably. And you're like, he could win the Rookie of the Year. I'm like, settle down. There's no way. Like, he's learning a new position, just got to the big leagues. I mean, he's good, but nobody thought this kid was going to be that good, except for the Padres scouts and stuff that really believed in him. But 20 bombs, man. That's something special. Congratulations to him.
I mean, what an upgrade.
The only,
what we've seen from that position offensively.
The only bright spot, really.
And a whole month left of the season.
Yeah,
the Padres
man.
rookie record's 26. Hunter Renfroe, that's certainly within range for Jackson Merrill this season. Sky's the limit for this kid. It's pretty amazing. All right, we'll come back. We'll play a little Take on Woods, and Paulie has been working on something that I'm going to like, or you're going to like, next on The Fan. Wesley in the chat says, think we can safely say the Padres' hot streak is over, now in a pause stretch. Now start another hot streak, the last 15, 20 games of the season, and storm into the playoffs hot. I heard, I think it was Chris was talking about that, and I don't necessarily subscribe to the theory that, like, the Diamondbacks have gotten too hot too early, and there's no way they're going to be able to sustain it for the rest of the season. Certainly, they will probably go into a lull. They just dropped 2-3 to the New York Mets, so they're not going to just keep winning every game. But you would like to keep winning. I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily to, have a hot streak in August. It doesn't mean you're going. It doesn't mean you'll be
tremendously.
It doesn't mean you're going to be cold in October just because you were hot in August. You could be hot. It's just not how baseball works. Sometimes hot streaks are longer. Sometimes they're shorter. Sometimes the cold streaks run longer, and sometimes they run shorter. First half of the season, they couldn't get on either a hot or a cold streak for the most part. Remember? Felt like win, lose, win, lose, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, lose, win, lose, win, lose. They're kind of right in that section right now again, where they're neither hot nor cold, but they've done a good job of avoiding the 5-game losing streaks that plagued them in the first half of the season. That's what this weekend, to me, avoid the 5-game losing streak.
100%.
Got to win at least one, hopefully two, and keep at least the 500 train going until you get to the final month of the year.
Have we considered bunting more?
Steve has. He sent me another video to pass along to Mike Schilt. We can't do that again.
I did it.
We passed it along last week.
I asked, I got the clarification from Schulte last week.
They practice bunting.
Steve, they practice
bunting. They don't have any more time in the day to add a grading system and more bunting to their schedule.
They have a system in place. We bunted the other night. We did not win the game. You're going to win some, lose some. They have shown the ability to get bunts down, bunting for hits, sacrificing
Tyler
squeezes.
Wade almost had a bunt hit yesterday.
Tyler Wade almost had a bunt hit.
Good play by Paul Goldschmidt. He tortured the Padres.
He did.
He had 8 hits in the series after he was hitting like 220 coming into the series. Ouch.
Yeah, he always has.
Always has. So, I think third highest OPS ever against the Padres is Paul Goldschmidt. So.
Our pal Steve sent you another video. It's on our Ben and Woods as well. I think we're good. I think we're set on bunting.
Jurickson got his bunt down. It didn't help them win, Steve.
Didn't help them win at all.
There's a flaw, perhaps, in your theory there.
But also, they've shown, and we have run it by the skipper, Mike Schilt. And I promised you that I would do it.
And we did.
Yeah. So
he didn't seem that enthusiastic about upping their bunting practice. All right, so we're going to have Take on Woods here in a couple of minutes. 833-288-0973 if you want to try to qualify for the trip to Las Vegas. I think the last chance to qualify since the calendar changes over the weekend. So this is your last shot to get in for the 2-night stay at Resorts World and the Carrie Underwood tickets. But we do have a couple of minutes to kill before then. Paulie, what do you have for us?
Ladies and gentlemen, needed to switch up the vibes, keep things fun, light, positive on a Friday. It's taken about 3.5, 4 months, but we do have for you today, right now, the 4th installment of Things Ben Likes.
Can't believe it.
I don't even remember saying that much lately.
Oh, but you did.
I like the tanginess of the cranberry. I like reflecting. I like old-time rock and roll, too. You know I do. I like NIL. I like my standard, very uninteresting haircut. I do like hearing people talk about how well it's going for the Padres. I like numbers. Oh, I like the bits. I like to be educational. I like when I get up, have a glass of cranberry-juiced cocktail. Oh. I like Adam Major. I do like butterscotch. I like your tweets a lot. I still like this deal. I like to live my life after another famous Benjamin Button. I like when the Padres take 2 of 3 from the Dodgers. I would have liked to have tried something else. I like Darren. I've always liked Darren. I like watching LeBron and Anthony Davis. Sex by the fire at night, that's what I like. I like Jake Cronenworth. The last couple of days, I really liked his swings. I do like horses. I like the Padres lineup. I like when things just flow perfectly. But I like Indian food. I just like a good, honest answer. I've liked what I've seen from Donovan Solano so far. I like that idea. I like 18 games in 18 days. You know, I like where the Padres are. I like that we won as a team.
I do
all
too.
of us together. I like to picture people actually in a recording studio. I like the way the Padres play baseball. What I like is the variety of the wins.
Yeah.
I liked everything about this week.
Sex by the Fire. I like that. What is that?
What was that from?
That was from.
Oh.
Was that a rap?
It was Ben Reed's raps. It was that Bruno Mars song.
Oh, my God, dude. Freaking Paulie. I like. Paulie just texted us yesterday. He's like, all right, it's ready. 4th installment. I'm like, you are kidding me.
Sex by the Fire at night. That's what I like.
Overrated, I think. I don't know that I've done it in a long time.
The one that killed me, and I have no idea where it came from, why we were talking about it, what Ben could have possibly meant.
I like to live my life after another famous Benjamin Button.
Incredible. What does that mean?
I keep looking younger.
Is that from a spot?
I think
that was.
I don't remember what it's from, but shouldn't we all like to look younger as we age?
I would love to. It's just literally physically impossible for me. I look older by the day. That is staggering.
The worst one there was I like 18 games in 18 days.
Are you out of your mind?
I think I like 18 games in 18 days. I think that was because it's content. It's good content for us in the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I guess
was why I said it. But at this point, everyone's dying for a day off for the San Diego Padres. So
I do like horses.
That is incredible. Incredible work, Paulie. Thank you for that. Holy cow, Benny. Well done. Well done.
Time to start
a new one.
Episode 5.
Well, and the thing is like, if you pile that one on to the rest of them, it's going to be at some point an hour and a half of just things you like. You can get up, go number 2, come back, grab a cup of coffee. I mean, how long is it now, the one you have? It's like 6 minutes, yeah?
You put them all together, like all 4
7, 8 minutes.
versions.
It's probably like 4 or 5 right now. 5 minutes.
It's a long time just to
long
say things
that
you
like
like when you think about it.
Yeah, Zach said, what's the total runtime? Either both of them. Yeah, it's probably you
I'll
get
add them all together here
and see what you get. I don't want to hear it, though.
Then Ivan points out, we have one for Woods. I love Paul Skeens.
I love Paul Skeens.
That's all we've got
That's
for Woods.
That's all you have. I don't love a lot of things, but yeah, that was great, Paulie. Well done. I love Paul Skeens.
It's a very short segment when we play things Woods loves.
I love Paul Skeens. I don't get me wrong. I love Paul Skeens. He has some videos on Instagram that I lie in bed at night and I show my son. That's true. I told you. There's one that he says, there's no reason not to believe in yourself. My son is so down on himself. Wonder why. Look who his dad is. And I just show him this video on Paul Skeens. There's no reason not to believe in yourself. That's good content for a young man. Right? There's no reason.
It's hard to believe that your son could be down on himself when he's literally the most popular kid in San Diego.
It's weird. It's weird how it works, man. But he beats himself
Definitely
up a lot.
takes after his father.
It's crazy. Beats himself up. And so I showed him that video. And yeah, we were playing last night. And I said he wanted some grounders. And I said, there's no reason. And he goes, not to believe in myself. Like, so it's sticking with him. So thank you, Paul Skeens. I do love you, but I love Jackson Merrill more, and I want Jackson Merrill to win the Rookie of the Year. How about that?
All right. You want to play some Take on Woods? You
Absolutely.
ready to go?
I'm
All right,
ready.
let's get to it. It's time for our Friday edition of Take on Woods. All right, Take on Woods brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. Paulie, you pick someone on our list here.
Okay, let's try line 2.
Is this David?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, David. All right, you're the last contestant this month trying to qualify for the grand prize drawing of the 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas and 2 tickets to Carrie Underwood Reflection at Resorts World Theater. It's her critically acclaimed production. It is on now. I think they've extended it through the spring. If you want to go, you can get your own tickets at rwlasvegas.com or at access.com. That's AXS.com. But to win them, you're going to have to beat or tie Woods. 5 questions of musical trivia. You get the advantage of the category, foreknowledge of the category. Here are your choices, David. Sister acts, bands or artists with sister in their name. Asian Nation, song titles that feature a single word ending in A-T-I-O-N, Haitian. And our new category, Little Shop of Horrors, song titles or musical artists beginning with the word little. So Sister Acts, Asian Nation, or Little Shop of Horrors. David, what would you like to play?
Let's go with the first one.
Sister Acts. Okay. Today we're looking for 5 different bands or artists with sister in their name. So not the song titles, but the actual bands or artists. They'll have 60 seconds. If you don't know an answer, you can say pass. We'll come back to it. There's time left on the clock. First question is the 2-second song. You do need to give me that song title and the artist with sister in their name to score that point. David, you understand? You ready to play?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, Woods is in isolation. 60 seconds on the clock. David, your time begins when Paul plays the music. The category Sister Acts. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Sister Sledge. I got this. We Are Family.
Correct. June, Bonnie, Anita, and Ruth formed which girl group known for hits like I'm So Excited and Jump?
Pass.
I Want to Rock and We're Not Going to Take It were 2 mega hits for which metal rock band formed in Correct. Which American rock band is best known for their 1997 hit single All For You?
Pass.
Bono called them the best pop band in the world in 2004, shortly after which band gained fame for their disco version of Pink Floyd's Comfortably Numb?
Pass.
All right, let's go back to June, Bonnie, Anita, and Ruth formed which girl group known for hits like I'm So Excited and Jump?
Oh. God.
All right, time is up. You got 2 correct. You got We Are Family by Sister Sledge and Twisted Sister. It's June Pointer, Bonnie Pointer, Anita Pointer, and Ruth Pointer. Those are the Pointer sisters. Sister Hazel sings All For You. A lot of people in the chat got that one. And the last one called the Scissor Sisters. That's a tough one. Woods gets that one. I'll be impressed. We'll see if 2 holds up. Stay on the line, David. All you can do is wait and hope at this point, because it is now in Woods' hands to determine the winner of today's game. All right, no category for Woods. He'll figure it out as he goes. 60 seconds back on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on David.
It's I'll pass. I'll come back.
June, Bonnie, Anita, and Ruth formed which girl group known for hits like I'm So Excited and Jump?
Pointer Sisters.
Correct. I Want to Rock and We're Not Gonna Take It were
Twisted Sisters.
Correct. Which American rock band is best known for their 1997 hit single All For You?
Sister Hazel.
Correct. Bono called them the best pop band in the world in 2004, shortly after which band gained fame for their disco version of Pink Floyd's Comfortably Numb?
Sister Taint.
Incorrect. So let's go back to the 2-second song. That's all that's left.
Why am I blanking? I love this song.
What's the category?
It's something sisters. Why am I blanking on this? I don't know. I'm out. I'm so tired. Go ahead.
You did win 3-2.
Oh, thank God.
He got the 2-second song that you didn't get, though. That's We Are Family by
Sister Sledge.
Sister Sledge. And the last one, tough one, Scissor Sisters. I had not heard of them before.
I love Scissor Sisters.
You like Scissor Sisters?
They're so good. What the hell happened to that band?
Well, you snuck in the victory, nonetheless, in the category Sister Acts. The Scissor Sisters. That's the name of the band.
I know.
Again, please.
The Scissor Sisters.
That's delightful.
What, they enjoy arts and crafts.
Yes. That's what that means. That's what that means. Whew, man. I don't know why that tickles me so much. Again.
The Scissor Sisters. The name of the band. Bono is a big fan. Woods is a big fan.
His matter-of-factness.
That's what it is.
That's
it's
what it is.
conviction
If I
behind it.
said, hey, have you guys ever heard of the Scissor Sisters? It wouldn't be funny in the slightest.
The Scissor Sisters.
Not even a little bit. Holy crap, that's so good. Oh, man, that's great. Thank you, Betty.
All right, don't do that, David. Thank you for playing. Came close, but we have our now drawing contestants that are left at the end of the month. Probably about 5 or 6 winners over the course of August.
It's a good month for me.
He was. You had a good month. Okay, Don't Do This is coming up next. I have one of the worst sports bets you will ever see. Oh, this was a bad one yesterday.
And I'll go Nick Castellanos for commissioner of Major League Baseball. What a great idea. Actually, he would never get voted in to be the commissioner with this idea that he had.
Commissioner, we'll get.
But this is good. You guys will like this.
It's coming up next with Bennett Woods after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. All right, I got a couple of DDT stories for you here on a Friday. And I will acknowledge all professional sports leagues and teams, to a certain extent, are a little paranoid about their secrets getting out. Padres included.
All of them.
It really is universal. However, at some point it gets kind of silly. And what I'm talking about is the NFL is getting a lot of criticism for, I don't know if you've seen this. So they have imposed a series of stringent limitations on Tom Brady in his role as a Fox broadcaster because Brady is applying to invest and become a minority owner as well of the Las Vegas Raiders. But they say, hey, even while you're in this process, because you're now in ownership, we can't let you really do anything that a normal broadcaster does. He is not allowed to enter other team facilities, even during the week, attend any practices, or even be a part of any broadcast production meetings, like when they go and like sit in the conference room and talk to the coaches and stuff to get, insight for the game, like behind the scenes stuff. He's also restricted from publicly criticizing game officials and other clubs because the fear is that Brady might somehow communicate strategic insights to the Raiders during his broadcasts. Well, if you can't do any of that, you can't really be a broadcaster anymore. So, like, an official makes a horrible call, completely blows a critical call at a critical moment on the national TV game, and Tom Brady just has to smile and go, yeah, I can't say anything about that call. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay. Like,
I thought it was a great call.
Do you want
it's a great call.
Do you want to be an owner? You want to be a broadcaster?
Well, that's true too.
You know
he
what
doesn't
I mean?
have to. No one's making him be an owner
or a broadcaster.
Buy
your team.
Not you. You can't do everything in life.
Right.
That's true.
It's such a thing as a conflict of interest.
What is Fox paying him? Like $100
$375 million was the contract, I believe, for Tom Brady. Something like that. Something ridiculous.
Good God.
Brandon said, Ben, you're a bigger basketball fan. When Magic was involved with the Lakers front office, he could barely say anything on ESPN. Yeah, I mean, it's a conflict of interest.
Yeah, 10 years, $335 million.
So you're telling me if he's on the Fox call for...
And basically all he can do now is show up on Sunday straight to the booth.
Show and go.
He's calling Bills at Patriots.
Right.
He is not... Tom Brady is not allowed to roam the halls of Gillette Stadium.
No,
go
not
into
anymore.
production meetings, talk with coaches, and
apparently.
prep for a game.
Yeah, I mean,
because maybe he's just a giant Raiders mole.
Just a big
who's
spy.
Spying on everyone for the Raiders instead.
I mean, where did he play his career?
Where did he learn it from?
It's feasible, possible. You have the other one, too, this bet.
Yeah, okay, so this may go down as one of the worst sports bets.
I can't wrap my head around this.
So what makes a bet bad? Well, everyone loses bets. I mean, pick a team, they lose. Even when you bet a lot, that's a bad bet, but you're going to lose bets sometimes. What makes a bet bad is when you bet an insane amount on a heavy, heavy favorite in order to win a very small amount of money.
Correct.
And then they lose.
They lose.
So last night in the second round of the U.S. Open tennis in New York, BetMGM says they had a bettor who put $25,000 on number 3 seed Carlos Alcaraz at minus 10,000. That's 1 to 100 odds. So if he wins $250. If he loses the entire 25,000. He was taking on nobody from Netherlands, Botic van de Zandschulp.
What were the odds again? Say it again.
Minus 10,000. There's 1 to 100 odds. So for every $100 you bet, you win $1. If Carlos Alcaraz simply straight up wins the match. Not only did Alcaraz lose, he lost in straight sets.
Oh,
my
God.
Botic van de Zandschulp mopped the floor with Carlos Alcaraz, the 4-time Grand Slam champion. And this bettor lost his entire $25,000 trying to win $250.
Bro, I don't even like betting at minus 200. You're like, it's just not worth it.
Minus 200 murders you. And you're like, all right, it's the Dodgers against the Marlins or some, no offense,
Right.
Skip, I'm sorry.
Right.
The Dodgers against the White Sox. Sorry, I should never do that.
Watch your mouth.
Hey, Marlins have almost pulled even with the Rockies.
I know, that's right. It's Dodgers, White Sox, and you're like, all right, yeah. I mean, it's like minus 300, and you're like, you can't do it. Throw it in a parlay. Yeah, throw it as one of your parlay games, certainly, but don't go straight up. One of our tier ones yesterday tweeted me a couple years ago. I had $5,000, $5,000 on a baseball game on the Cards money line over the Marlins. Ryan Helsley came in with a 1-run lead in the ninth, gave up a 2-run bomb. The Cards lost 3-2. I will forever hate him. He said, also, the night before, I had $5,000 on the Padres right before they blew a 6-0 lead to the Diamondbacks. $10,000, 2 baseball games, both in beyond vicious and brutal fashion. That's too much money to bet on a baseball game. It's just too many variables. I mean, you just never know when a guy gets hot, whatever. Like, there's
Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466.
Katie in the chat says, so if he had won, it would have been a $250 payout on a $10,000 bet. No, $25,000 bet.
Correct.
Either you win $250 or you lose $25,000.
It is absolutely
Can you imagine
moronic.
how miserable it would have been watching that match, losing the first set?
Oh,
and watching
yeah.
him lose the second set
You're
and going,
dead.
I mean, he's come back from 2 sets down before. He's the king of 5 setters. He's gonna do this, right? He's not gonna lose to Botic van de Zandschulp of the Netherlands, right? No, he lost.
Can you think of any matchup, like obviously not like in professional sports, a real matchup, not the Celtics against a varsity high school team,
right?
But like a real matchup where you would take minus 10,000 odds?
No.
I can't.
I mean, again, I'll throw it in a parlay or something, but
Alabama against the worst team in college football.
It's not worth it, man.
Yeah, it would be one of those Alabama against like an FCS school cupcake to open the season.
Money
and
line
you're not
win,
and
not
you're
even
not
against the
like giving 50 points.
Right.
You were just straight
Money
up.
line.
That would be something like that. Bet 25,000 to win like $250 or something like that.
That's just clearly you're in it for the juice.
And the casinos.
Yeah, you have
the
a problem,
casinos
bro.
go.
You have $25,000. You don't need.
We know we're probably
250.
losing 250, but if there's enough idiots who keep doing this, eventually we're going to make all our money back and then some when they lose that one time. So that 25,000 he lost just paid for 500 other guys who are trying to make the same thing happen.
Imagine somebody putting $100 on the other guy, though. Nice little day for you.
Yeah.
Really nice
But
little day.
I didn't hear of anyone actually betting on both.
Why didn't this idiot do that?
Yeah, it could have gone the other way.
Yeah, gone the other way. That's crazy.
You're dropping $25,000. Drop another $200.
This is pretty cool.
Then you only win $50 if you actually win the $25,000 bet, though.
Let's do this here for
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
So Nick Castellanos did a little pregame thing with that. Yeah, I don't know who this guy is. He's like a baseball content creator, Alex Tantum. And he asked him, hey, what would you do if you could change the game a little bit? This is pretty interesting.
The game. I would change that ownership doesn't have any severe consequences for losing for an extended period of time. So if we're in the big leagues and we don't perform well, we get demoted or cut. If their organization didn't perform well, somebody else would have an opportunity to buy it from them.
Wow.
Keep it to where nobody can really own the game of baseball because the game is above true ownership. But
I think that's brilliant. Punishment for owners that aren't committed to winning. I think that is brilliant. I don't know how you enforce it. I don't know how you...
Well, they do it in English soccer quite well. It's called relegation.
Relegation.
And if you don't perform well, you actually get bumped down a league, and it costs owners a ton of money when that happens. So they'll never do it here.
No.
But they do it, and it works quite well in other parts of the world.
Dick Manfart is sweating bullets right now. Bob Nutting.
But that was an interesting... So
Jerry Reinsdorf.
What actually makes Nick Castellanos' idea...
John Fisher.
Reasonable is that you're not telling the owners you're just losing your investment. We're just telling you, okay, you now have to sell. Market value, you have to sell the team. It's not like you're going to lose all your money. You're still probably going to make money, but you're no longer going to be part of our sport. If you're not going to
attempt
and invest in your team.
That's
great.
True. Even Reinsdorf would make money
Right.
selling the White Sox for what he paid for them.
And there can be guardrails. I mean, if you're trying and you're like putting payrolls out there and your team just stinks every year
by the
and
way,
you've hired the wrong people, that doesn't mean you have to sell.
Artie Moreno probably gets through. because he actually spends money. It's
Exactly.
foolish money, but he has spent money.
Exactly.
But, the guy in Colorado and John Fisher, certainly. What do they do for John
in
Fisher?
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Pittsburgh, yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty
Like
fair.
Moreno can at least say, I'm trying.
I literally am trying. I'm trying
And,
to win.
Tampa Bay, they don't spend, but they've been smart enough to put competitive winning teams, so they're okay too.
Yeah.
But if you are both cheap and bad,
Yes.
it's time to move on to
I think
someone
that's
else.
great. I love
Yeah,
Castellanos.
that's pretty
I
smart.
like where his head's at.
Let's don't and do this for a Friday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
I was actually so delighted yesterday when I got the text. I think it was Paulie who said, I want to bring back something that Ben did last season.
Oh, I love this bit.
So we're going to bring it back in our next segment.
It really helped a lot.
Did it help?
It helps
I'm
a
glad-
lot.
I'm
Yeah,
so glad.
It's
I thought-
very helpful.
I thought no one really appreciated it last
No,
year.
we
do. We
But
appreciate you.
I've set it up again. The ultimate college football Saturday.
It's his favorite thing. I love it, too. I love this. I think it's brilliant.
Are you ready for some football?
Get to that and more coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. College football season just kind of hit us like
Sure did, man.
out of the blue.
Well, we're usually kind of looking forward. Like last year, we were looking forward to it to get out of the doldrums of covering the Padres every day. This year, I went, oh my God! We were on the live stream last night, and I said, my beloved Fighting Irish play on Saturday. I haven't even looked at their depth chart. I have no idea who's back, who's not. The portal. You just kind of wait for all the dust to settle. And so I'm.
And I said to you, I don't think anybody knows who's on their teams anymore. And you said, well, the diehard Texas fans, they know everybody.
Yeah, Bama,
but
Georgia.
With the turnover now, the portal turnover, and I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. It's good for players to have the freedom and flexibility to go where they want, make some money. But in terms of being able to follow your team, much harder.
Oh, yeah.
Much harder.
Way harder.
San Diego State's entire roster is pretty much new.
Yeah.
They have like half a dozen players back, I think, from last season, from Brady Hoke. And when you have a new coach, that's going to even multiply the turnover, obviously, in any program. But it makes college football, it's already all about the coaches. This makes it even more about the coaches and less about the players. Maybe with one exception. And I did watch some of the Colorado-North Dakota State game on ESPN last night. And while I think it's going to be another tough season for Deion Sanders in terms of wins and losses, his son and that two-way wide receiver / defensive back Travis Hunter, they're both unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. You could just tell physically the kind of plays they make. Shedeur Sanders threw for 445 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. And
he's not just hype. He's talent.
He's got talent.
He's got talent.
But I think Travis Hunter might be the more talented of the two.
No question.
132 yards and just 7 catches. So fast. I saw someone tweet, he's clearly never been not the most athletic player on the field.
Yeah.
And by the way, that may still be true when he goes to the NFL next year.
Yeah.
He may still be the most athletic, fast, agile person on the field. He made 3 touchdown catches. They were all spectacular in their own way. The last one, though, is
they got better.
Unreal. They just kept getting better and better and better. And Colorado still needed to survive a Hail Mary on the last play that was caught, but just at the 5-yard line because the quarterback couldn't quite throw it far enough to hold on for a 31-26 win. So team-wise, they got some issues, but individual player-wise, those two are worth the price of admission and could both go in the top 10, even top 5 of the draft next year in 2025.
Yeah, got that dub, a little bit of a nail biter against a not great opponent. The defense is very porous, very, very porous for the Colorado Buffaloes, as they were last year as well.
Now, North Dakota State's a really good FCS school, like championship, but they're not a FBS school. They're not like these other teams, and they still hung with Colorado the whole time.
Dub's a dub,
I guess so.
And with that,
they had some dubs at the start of last year, and we saw how it ended for them last year.
100%.
But that brings us, and we'll get to after traffic, our ultimate college football Saturday, your marathon. I put your schedule together.
Look at you.
For what you should should be watching on Saturday, first week.
Like a little travel agent.
And we'll get to that right after. Check a traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by SDG&E. We still have a few problems here, guys. One of them is this crash at Clearing Stage, South 805 at Murray Ridge. It's over the right shoulder. Also hit and run crash on northbound 15 before Balboa. That's over to the right shoulder. Now getting reports of a collision eastbound 8 before Hotel Circle. Vehicle had a blowout and then crashed. It's blocking the left lane, so just watch out for the activity there. In peak wildfire season is a last resort. SDG&E may need to shut off power in specific areas for public safety. Learn more about public safety power shutoffs at sdge.com/PSPS. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So full schedule of games week 1. I think they had 20-plus games last night already to get started. But you got a lot of games on Saturday. And my promise to you is that I will try to be as unbiased as I can in picking what I think are the best matchups. 9 a.m. West Coast all the way through the night game. If you want to sit down and prioritize your college football watching, I want to give you the best schedule possible. This one sounds like an ad for ABC 10, but it really wasn't that close. The best games are mostly on ABC this week. So if you want to start your day, 9 a.m. Saturday morning, By the way, College Game Day, I think Johnny Manziel's the guest picker. They're going to be Texas A&M in the morning, so if you want to wake up early for that. Then at 9 a.m. at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, I hear Adam Klug's ears perking up right now. Number 14, Clemson versus number 1, Georgia. Pretty good matchup, maybe the matchup of the day in Week 1 to start your day on ABC at 9 a.m. Then at 12:30, we'll roll right into a Florida rivalry matchup. Number 19, Miami. The U at Florida on ABC as well at 12:30. Then at 4:30, you can either stick with ABC and watch Woods' 7th-ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish at Kyle Field.
Led by quarterback Riley Leonard.
There you go. Riley, good old Riley. At number 20, Texas A&M. But you said Texas A&M is actually favored because they're at home?
Yeah,
by
Irish
field goal.
Irish getting 3 points.
3 points. Or if you'd rather, you can switch over to NBC at 4:30. Number 9, Michigan, post Jim Harbaugh era, first game for the defending national champions, taking on a Mountain West school, Fresno State, in their first game at the Big House at 4:30. And then if you're really a diehard, not a lot of great games at night, ESPN After Dark, but it's going to be number 21 Arizona hosting New Mexico at 7:30. If you're still watching by then, you started at 9 a.m. and you follow all the way through the end of the New Mexico-Arizona game, you are a college football junkie, no doubt about it. You have a problem, actually.
In my younger days, pre-family, no problem. Sit and rot on the couch, get Dominoes, and watch 7 football games back to back, no problem. There's no way. I may not even get to watch the Irish. I mean, you just never know what the day is going to bring. So,
if you're curious, I don't think it should be a good game. We mentioned they're favored by like 34.5 points. But if you want to see what the new Aztec offense looks like, they're playing at 5 o'clock at Snapdragon Stadium, I believe, on True TV against Texas A&M Commerce in that game as well.
Also have a Sunday game.
There is a Sunday game, yeah. Number 23 USC at number 13 LSU. That is also on ABC. It's the only game, so you have to watch that one. And then there's a Monday game as well because there's no NFL Monday Night Football this week. Boston College at number 10, Florida State, already 0-1, trying to bounce back from their loss in Dublin at home against Boston College. That's an ESPN game at 4:30. So this is the one weekend they have to themselves with no NFL, so they're taking advantage. And the rest of the matchups, though, are pretty much cupcakes versus powerhouses. Those are the ones that, if you're at all interested in like decent college football matchups, that you probably should be prioritizing.
It's weird
tomorrow.
Seeing like West Coast dominant schools like Oregon, Washington. They're all in the Big Ten now.
Yeah,
I think,
Oregon,
right?
Washington,
so
USC, UCLA.
There's really, Washington's playing at home, so they got, I think it's like an 8 o'clock game. And I don't know how good Washington's going to be, but they're in the championship game last year. All those teams moving to the big conferences, like you're going to see them earlier and earlier in the day, right?
Yeah.
I would
Sure.
imagine.
Yeah,
playing.
well, they're going to have to make more East Coast road trips. The weirdest two are Stanford and Cal in the ACC, playing like all the way in the southeast of the country.
There's no more Pac-12 after dark.
No.
Saturday nights aren't going to have a lot of great games. My guess would be this season.
Who's the top ranked team? Georgia again?
Georgia.
Yeah. Well, they had like 14 players arrested. Does that affect their ranking?
It doesn't hurt them at all.
That's
actually.
how
It helps them, I think.
They're that good.
Yeah.
They're that deep.
Adam's going out and getting arrested right now just to help morale with the team.
Just to be, he wants to be like a Georgia Bulldog.
But you never know. It's at least a few of these ranked teams preseason are not going to be that good.
Top 5 right now is Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, and Alabama.
Nice. All right.
Totally unexpected.
So weird.
New top 5.
Followed by Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Penn State, Michigan, Florida State.
Of those 10,
those teams.
like Ole Miss is the most. Oh, Ole Miss. They snuck into the top 10 of those teams.
Yeah.
That's about it. Everything else is like the actual normal college football.
When was the last time Georgia wasn't ranked?
Alabama, Ohio State.
It's been,
let alone outside of the top 5.
It's been ages. Yeah, when was the last time Georgia and Alabama weren't ranked in the top 25?
My childhood.
Yeah, when we were little kids.
Georgia only stepped up in the last
10 years,
10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
Alabama, it's been more like 20. at this point. Saban era has, now, hey, no more Nick Saban. Who knows? Will they be able to
Adam says Clemson
keep it up with Kalen DeBoer?
Yeah, Adam says Clemson. Oh, that's right, Kalen DeBoer.
Kalen DeBoer, coach at Alabama.
What a load of pressure that is, replacing that guy.
My buddy, when I was up in Seattle a few weeks ago, he went to the University of Washington. He loved Kalen DeBoer. He understood why he left. He he left for his dream job.
Right.
It would have been better had we won against Michigan.
100%.
But he just did an interview the week I went up there, like 2 days before I landed. He did an interview with Softy up there in Seattle.
Did he?
First time back on the airwaves since he just up and left within a week of losing the national championship. He goes, dude, it was spicy.
Softy get him?
Oh, yeah. They tried to pull he doesn't want to really talk about this or want to talk about that. He's like, well, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
He's like, you're either going to come on and answer all the questions or you're not going to answer any of them.
That's fantastic.
There is something, the longevity, though, of Alabama and Ohio State of being good.
Sure.
Like LSU, Coach O, but they dropped off for a while. Auburn had their moment in the sun, and, they kind of fell back a little bit. Clemson kind of fell back a little bit, even after Dabo had been so good and won 2 national championships. But Alabama and Ohio State, pretty much top 5 every single year.
Yeah, it's impressive, man. They're factories. That's what they are. So it's gonna be fun, man. I love. I just like that. I like putting College Game Day on. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. It'd be a nice distraction from the Padres too. But I mean, what time do the Pods play tomorrow?
Padres are a day game, 1:00.
Okay,
tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be locked into that and not college football. That I do promise you.
So you will be missing the middle day game, which is before your Notre Dame Irish play. They don't play until 4:30. You go doubleheader.
Yeah.
Padres right into Notre Dame.
Irish, it's a perfect day.
Fortunately, you have no kids or family to speak of.
And knowing my wife, I'm sure she's planned something to give me that time to myself. Knowing her and how important that is to me, I'm sure I'll be unfettered for 6 to 7 hours in the middle of the day. No problem.
Of course.
Yeah.
You'll miss Miami, Florida, which I don't think you're that
I don't care.
Broken up about.
How you doing?
I probably won't be watching that one either.
Now, Adam has 3 kids, and he says he'll be camped in front of the TV all damn day tomorrow.
Just watching it at home, or does he get out to the local Georgia bar where his fellow alums gather to watch the Bulldogs play?
I think he's got to be at home, but he actually gets the chance to sit and watch the game.
I like to think of Adam having a few too many pops during the game, getting a little mouthy about his team.
At who?
Just
TV?
yelling at the TV. Yeah.
I can't even imagine Adam in watching a high stress game of his favorite team. We've never watched a game with Adam.
Have we not?
Not that I
don't
can
think
remember.
so.
He said he's going to be boozing at 9 a.m.
Can you
That's that Georgia in him.
If Georgia's in the national championship. If Georgia has a big college football game, I want to just
Adam wasn't in a frat, was he?
I want to watch Adam watch the game.
Yeah, watching Adam watch a game would be
Were
great.
you ever in a frat?
Yeah, but it didn't work out. Grades.
I'm shocked.
Grades.
Grades.
Oh, grades.
You got kicked out of a frat for grades.
Yeah. You got kicked out of a whole school for grades.
That I understand.
Adam was in a fraternity. What is it?
What fraternity?
He was AEPI. I never even heard of that.
AEPI. That feels like too many letters.
Special one.
Thought there was only three Greek letters in a fraternity. Which one was yours?
SAE.
Sigma Alpha Epsilon.
Yeah, it was a national.
What were they known for? Was this at Texas Tech?
I know what they were known for here. Wasn't good at San Diego State.
Yeah. Think about the worst people you know.
Sounds right.
Think about the worst people you know.
Yep.
And then throw me at 18 right in the middle.
That's the one that had the major drug bust at San Diego State.
And they got kicked off fraternity row.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you got kicked out of that fraternity.
Correct.
Because everyone else there were Einsteins all passing their classes with flying colors.
Yeah, this is also 1994. Also,
Matt says SIG-Eps have a reputation everywhere.
SIG-Eps or SAEs? I was an SAE.
Well,
It's
is there a different? There's a SIG-Ep and a Sigma Alpha Epsilon that are
Correct.
totally different.
Correct.
Just put those letters in. Apparently, it's problems.
You want to talk about times in my life that I completely ignore? Those are them. That's the time of my life that was just not good. It just wasn't good.
What was a typical day for you like?
Sleep all day in my dorm room and drink all night. Every night. 7 days a week. That's it. Party. I didn't go to class. I didn't take school seriously at all. It was horrible. I was a horrible, horrible person.
And you turned out okay.
I did.
It's
I mean,
amazing.
it took a
Where's
lot
the cautionary tale here?
It took a lot of work, though, man. A lot of work. A lot of looking in the mirror because those days were just, I was a train wreck, man.
And Paul, were you in a frat?
No.
No.
I didn't need to pay for friends.
Oh, boy. You would if you lived in Lubbock, Texas, in the middle of nowhere. Do you like girls? Because that's a good way to meet them. All right? Oh, it was awful.
Welsh Friar's asking, what is a fraternity? That's a long question.
That's a long answer. I don't want to talk about it ever again.
All right, we got
6
Jordan,
years, by the
Jordan
way.
Schusterman, Cespedes Family Park. You
6
know, never
years,
once.
never
I had
once.
no idea.
Yep.
Next on the Fan.
Halfway home on a Friday, Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Thank you, Ben, for making me relive some of the traumas that I stayed up all night thinking about last night. I got like 30 minutes of sleep, and now I've relived it.
So glad I could help.
So much fun on a Friday.
Think about how much better off you are now.
It's very true. Very, very true. I should give myself a pat on the back for the person that I am now. And as bad as I am now, think about how much worse I was back then. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Rindle, the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor and trauma bringer-outer this morning.
And joining us right now to kick off the second half of the show, our friend Jordan Schusterman from Yahoo Sports and Cespedes Family Barbecue. Segment is brought to you each week by our friends at Grand Ole Barbecue. Now, when he logged into our YouTube stream, his ID said #1 Mason McCoy fan. But then he realized that can't be true because we had Mason McCoy on the show yesterday, and we are now the #1 Mason McCoy fans. He was fantastic.
He was brilliant.
Jordan. But Sean Reynolds, #1 Sean Reynolds fan, is absolutely fine, and he's done a nice job as well. Good morning to you, Jordan.
Good morning, gentlemen. It's great to see you. Listen, Mason McCoy, a former Mariners farmhand, someone that I thought was maybe going to make his debut with them someday. It's great to see him in the major leagues, and I'm sure he is a delightful gent.
He was like one of the more dynamic players we've talked to in 6 years of doing this, and we had zero idea what to expect from him.
He told us about growing up corn tasseling.
Tasseling. Yeah, making good
in
money
Illinois.
to do it.
Yeah, you'd have to go and pull the tassels off the corn and just throw them on the ground. It's like miserable work for kids in Illinois and Iowa growing up.
It's Midwest living, all right. You coastal folks over there don't know what it's like to do some hard work on the farm. But yeah, I'm glad Mason McCoy is standing up for flyover country.
And I love you guys because you get into the minutia of things, and there's a couple of things that I do as well. And when he made his debut, I laughed the minute he appeared because he had on the Jeff Bagwell black Nikes, like the old school Mike Hampton, Jeff Bagwell, that era of cleats. And I go, all right, I got to bring this up. And I didn't. He could have been like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've always worn these, but he's like, bro, I'm so I couldn't believe it. I had to wear them with the City Connects. I felt ridiculous, but I got a hit, so I had to keep wearing them. He was just fantastic, but. I thought, man, you're getting called up to the show. You can't stop by Dick's Sporting Goods like on the way or have somebody go grab you some new spikes so that you look clean for your first game.
No, I hear that, but again, we're talking about a guy who's played. Nearly 500 AAA games, right?
Bananas.
Like every players like that are so incredible to me because to be that close, it's a lot easier, right? When you are struggling to get it even to AA, and it's like, all right, maybe the dream's over. But when you're in AAA and you're constantly a phone call away, right? For 500 games for 4 or 5 seasons, you got to be ready. But at the same time, once you get there, everything's probably moving a million miles an hour, and he's just focusing on like, I just need to whatever. I'm not focused on my aesthetics at this point.
100%.
To not, hurt the San Diego Padres, and if I can help them, even better. So good for him.
So we haven't brought this up yet, but it's August 30th, which means it's actually kind of an important last couple of days for playoff contenders, because if you want someone eligible for the playoff roster, they have to be in your organization by tomorrow.
Correct.
And we're starting to see other teams put players on waivers. Did you see Katie Wu reporting yesterday? Tommy Pham is being put on waivers. Now, I don't know if the Padres are interested or any other teams, but...
Did I see Travis Jankowski, too,
the
day after that catch?
Yeah, so I don't know.
Business.
Are you expecting anything to happen here, Jordan, in the next couple of days that could actually impact some playoff teams down the stretch?
Yeah, so we saw the Giants do a couple, and I think that one is probably the most interesting one. Taylor Rogers, the left-handed reliever, being put on waivers. Now, he's someone with a guaranteed contract for next season for a good amount of money, and there's only so many teams that are going to be willingly signing up to pay any reliever that much money for next season. But he's really the only one with respect to Tommy Pham and Michael A. Taylor and Jankowski that I could imagine being like, oh, wow, this is meaningful because this guy's going to pitch high leverage innings in the postseason. But also with the money that he's owed, it's not as much of a guarantee. So waivers at this point, we had it with the Angels last year. We talked a little bit about it in the podcast we recorded this morning. It's it's a strange process. Of course, we don't have the August trades anymore like we used to. So this is kind of an avenue for teams to still add major league players before September and able to make them postseason eligible. So I wouldn't expect too much movement, but I'm sure some of these players will change teams, and we will feel like, remember, we thought last year when the Guardians claimed Giolito and the Angels got rid of. Basically, none of those moves ended up meaning much at all. So we'll see if that actually is different this year.
They went nuts last year adding guys and trying to make a final push with Shohei, and it just didn't work out. Talking to Jordan Schusterman here from Cespedes Family Barbecue, and I did see the Rangers. We just talked about Travis Jankowski, but there was that rumor like 3 weeks ago that they were going to put Eovaldi out there. Is that something, Jordan, where they go to the player and say, "Hey, man, like, this could be beneficial for both of us"? I did see Katie Wu talking about it. Like, sometimes an organization will, yes, they're not going to do it unless it saves them money. But it's also like giving a guy like a Tommy Pham a chance to jump on a roster for a postseason run. I don't think it's really altruistic by the Cardinals or really any other team when they do it. But have you heard anything else about like Eovaldi or any of those guys?
Yeah, I don't think it's totally irrelevant. The Rangers are a really difficult one to figure out because it's one thing to hold on to your guys at the deadline and try to go on a run with the team that obviously won the World Series last year. I mean, putting up, just giving those guys away at this point is just to save money, I guess. But so maybe we'll have a couple more. It sounds like what we already know, since it's a 48-hour process and guys need to get on before September 1st, like, we're kind of running out of time to find out if anyone else is going to be, put on here. But we'll see. I do think, to your point, though, like, it's not totally irrelevant, like, especially for veteran players who, like Tommy Pham, like there's some other versions of this. I think there probably is some internal conversations. We heard one with the Angels, apparently, where this year, where it was like Kevin Pillar, who said he's retiring, he apparently was fine just sticking around with the Angels. They're like, okay, do you want to get traded? Do you want to go try and win it? And I don't know how much of trade interest were they really been, but he'd been having a solid season, and he was apparently like, no, I'd rather just play it out here. So different players have different, preferences, but ultimately the teams are the ones making the decisions.
Jordan, you guys are giving me post-traumatic stress with the tweet you sent a couple of minutes ago. The
that.
Padres lineup.
I had to get that in before we started.
The last time the Padres went to Tropicana Field, it was 8 years ago this month, August 17th, 2016. Let me run through the Padres lineup. This is horrific.
So good.
Travis Jankowski, we just mentioned him. He's actually the star of the show here, along with Will Myers, your first two batters. After that, Yangervis Solarte.
Never nervous.
Alex Dickerson. Ryan Schimpf,
greatness,
who's now a loan officer. I still follow him on Twitter.
Greatness.
Christian Bethancourt behind the plate. Then Brett Wallace, Alexi Ramirez, Nick Noonan at second base.
Noonan.
And the starting pitcher, Christian Friedrich, in that game. Holy.
Oh, my God.
If you had told me 8 years from now the Padres will be battling with the Dodgers for
the
division lead, the Diamondbacks are in the wild card spot, they'll be going for their third playoff appearance. I go, how do you get from there to here, even in 8 years? It seems impossible.
Here's what's so wild about this, and this is the Padres are an incredible example of like how there's like before and after the pandemic are just like completely different eras of baseball.
Yes.
Like I've thought about this often. Like 2019 to me is when we talk about eras in baseball, like I do think that will maybe be considered the end of one. Like when we're talking about baseball history in 20, just because of course, how much happened in 2020, but how many of the rules changes and all these different things. We're talking about 2016. They would lose for 4 more seasons after that, or 3 more seasons after that. That was the beginning of the losing.
And you know who the GM of that team was?
AJ Preller.
AJ Preller, still the general manager of that team. That put together that lineup with Nick Noonan at second base and Christian Friedrich.
I got to tell you, the first 8 you read, I was in. And I remember that well. When you said Nick Noonan and Christian Friedrich, I went, ooh, I must have missed that one because I had no recollection of those.
But friends, let's also
Nick Noonan, local kid though, Poway.
Nice.
Yeah.
But also, again, I mean, this Rays lineup is pretty staggering. Well, I think about how much turnover they've had, right? I mean, we got some players in there that, we got Steven Souza in there. We got Nick Franklin at the top of the line. Kiermaier's still playing. But,
Logan Morrison's in there.
Yeah, Logan Morrison. We got
Wild.
Bobby Wilson as a coach now for the Rangers. And Chris Archer, he's not pitching anymore. So It's 2016, a long time ago.
There's another tweet that you sent out that really bummed me out because I like this dude a lot. Talking about the Royals, we mentioned the Royals earlier in the week. What a nice story that is. And Vinny Pasquantino went down. They're saying 6 to 8 weeks with a broken thumb. It's just such a bummer for that organization. Losing a guy when you're, in the middle of it all, man, and fighting and scrapping every day is quite a blow. Can they overcome it? I really like that team a lot. Bobby Witt Jr. is legitimately a superstar in this league. And they're one of those kind of really fun teams to watch that I don't think anybody wants to run into.
100%. And I wrote about the Royals at Yahoo this week. I saw them in Cleveland, saw them, sweep the doubleheader on Monday. Vinny, one of our favorites. I mean, he's someone that we've gotten to know a lot over the last few years, and a genuinely hilarious human being. Like we always talk about how like the bar for baseball player funny is generally a lot lower, respectfully. Vinny makes me laugh every time I have a conversation with him, sometimes on purpose, sometimes just because he's a big goof, but he's also so important to them. This Royals team has 3 awesome hitters, and they're trying to figure out the rest. And to lose one of them in Vinny Pasquantino, of course, Bobby Witt's on another level. Sal Perez, one of my favorite players, of this generation. But the concern, and I would say that this is the first injury blow they've dealt with the whole season. The Royals have been one of the healthiest teams the whole year, and that has been a huge part of why they've been able to stay together and really fight for this division a year after losing 106 games. I think they still have enough to get into the postseason, but this is not a team with a lot of reinforcements coming on the farm. That this is not a team where it's like, oh, good thing we have this top prospect. So I'm really curious to see how they manage to fill in. There's no way you can replace Vinny this late in the season, but it's really, really tough. I'm super bummed. That's as far as injuries this season. That one just crushes me.
Are there any genuinely funny baseball players left?
Joey Votto just retired.
Votto just retired, so he was okay. But this was the sport that birthed Bob Uecker. Mark Grant was legitimately
hysterical.
funny. We get to enjoy him every day, but that's like a bygone era. I mean, if someone was like cracking jokes like that in the clubhouse,
Blake Snell, it's hysterical.
Blake Snell's pretty funny, but
he's hysterical. Blake Snell is one of the
is it
funniest
intentionally or unintentionally though?
Snell is I think he counts. I think Snell is a good nomination as a legitimately funny player. But yeah, it's just interesting. Like Vinny, man, and it's just been cool, and that's been part of it. Also, I feel like as he's debuted, and the Royals have been very bad, but to have him be a very big part of this team that's now winning a lot, it's been cool to see him a lot more out there. So I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks. I mean, now we're pushing into October, right? I mean, that's maybe he's back for the DS or CS, but that's really tough.
Jake Cronenworth is cuttingly dry, funny.
Cuttingly, but it's taken 4 years. Yeah, it's taken 4 years to get there, and he's really. I've heard him with other people. I think we bring out the best in Jake. I'll just say it. I'll say it. He likes us. Yeah,
but I mean, it used to be a sport of comedians.
Yeah, it really did.
I mean,
you got to fill the time at 162. Now everybody is like, I can't wait to go to Instagram
hot
and post.
Foots in the dugout. I mean, they're like playing pranks all the time in the bullpen and the dugout, and you're just like, it's too serious now.
Now it's like I hit a single and I have to get to Instagram and post it ASAP. I smoked that single in the third to put us up 3-1.
Manny Machado can be funny, but he's not even. He doesn't try. Like when he brought out the Gatorade, he's like, "Watch out, Bob." Like,
yeah. He doesn't try to be funny.
He doesn't try.
I would just say to me, like, because there's so many games, like players are so quick to just fall into saying the same thing over and over. And so anybody that is willing to detour from that and make an interesting, I mean, I said all the time about Votto is there's very few players who, and this applies to not just like whether they're funny or not, but just like the actual insight. There are very few players who if I see they did a post-game interview, like I have to listen.
Got to see it.
That's a tiny list.
Kevin in the chat mentioned. He's got that
is
Stephen Wright, droll, dry, sad sort of humor.
But Votto was the number one guy, and I was lucky enough to cover him in Cincinnati and like get to experience it up close. But it's a short list. But I would say Vinny is kind of working his way there too.
Sorry about your Mariners.
Yeah, they're.
It's not a death in the family.
It's not, but
not dead yet. Not dead yet.
They're not dead yet.
Not
How
dead yet,
far are they back
but
now?
they're
They
a whole-
are 4 back.
They're a whole,
All right.
They're a whole lot more dead than they were when they reset games.
All right, here's the deal. All right, Padres, we'll try to sweep the Astros for you in a couple weeks when they come to town, but you have to at least let us take one of the two when the Mariners play the Padres.
Well, it is to that point. So I just did another piece at Yahoo this week, just looking ahead at the best series remaining on the schedule, and I circled those two games in Seattle. Seattle took the two games from San Diego in early July, and at that point, the Mariners are still in first. The Padres are like barely hanging on in that third wild card, and it was like this time the pressure is obviously going to be on Seattle. I know that's still a couple weeks away, but yeah, man. I mean, listen, they're still in it. They've put a little bit better since they fired Service. Whether that's coincidence, whether that's related, who knows? But listen, they got a chance, as I've been saying all season. Every time they go out there, their pitcher has a chance to be awesome
every time.
They're essentially the only team in the league that you can say that about.
Yeah.
And so that is some sort of an advantage, but obviously if they can't hit, they can't hit. So I'm curious because they go on the road now and they've offensively generally been a little bit better on the road. So we'll see if they can take care of business, especially against a team like the Angels. They really got to win that.
All right, I'm sorry to write them off so soon. There's still plenty of time. You're good. You're fine.
Yeah, they're not in a good place.
Not in a great place.
You're,
Jordan,
you're fair to
sorry.
send your condolences.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
As
buddy.
always, have a good week. We'll talk to you again soon.
Appreciate you guys.
There is Jordan Schusterman, Yahoo Sports, Cespedes Family Barbecue, and that segment each week brought to you by our friends at Grand Ole Barbecue, North Park, Flint Springs, at the ballpark. Get the brisket. Thank me later. It is unbelievably good.
The Franimal was funny. Franmeal.
Franmeal was
Very
funny.
ballpark.
Yes.
It was good.
Is he playing in Japan,
I
or
believe so.
where is he right
I believe
now?
He's in Japan. if I'm
Seemed
not
like he could
mistaken.
be a hit over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it used to be a sport of comedians. I mean, Bob Uecker had a very successful comedy career.
Remember
sitcom.
Jay Johnstone? Remember
Yeah,
that
Jay
guy from our
Johnstone,
youth?
yep.
Yeah, those guys. Well, I mean, a lot of the really funny guys weren't that good. That's not a shot at you, Mud. If you're listening right now, you were pretty good.
But it's true.
It is true.
Joey Votto is probably the
best
top of
funny-
the
best
best
funny guy.
and funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Interesting. All right, we've got Ronald Report still coming up. Some more some Padres talk, and again wrapping up that series against St. Louis. Moving on against those Tampa Bay Rays, and the Managers Report with Mike Schilt at 9:00. All ahead. Don't go anywhere. Traffic, and then back with more Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Express Employment Professionals. If your supply chain demands a flexible workforce, hire with Express Employment Professionals. With contract and full-time workers from Express Employment, you get the staff you need and manage contingent labor costs. Learn more at expresspros.com. That's expresspros.com.
Labor costs.
Labor costs.
Labor Day.
Labor
on
Day.
Monday.
That's right. Happy Labor Day, everybody.
Happy Labor Day to all of you. We will certainly enjoy the extra day. What are the plans for you guys? Any big Labor Day plans? Do you barbecue? Do you go to parades? You were not really
all the parades.
We're not laborers, so I don't feel right.
Technically, we are. We're
no.
Labor Day. We work for a company. We're employed.
This is for like laborers. They're not laborers.
I don't think that that's necessarily true.
Listening to you do math live on the air is laborious. I will give you that. But it's rooted, Ben, in the labor movement of the 19th century, as you know, right? Holiday originated.
Factory workers.
During a dismal time, long hours, low wages.
Poor conditions.
Long hours, low wages, and unsafe conditions. This is very safe where we are. The hours are not long. In fact, they're short.
We could be electrocuted at any moment by any of this equipment.
I mean, I guess, yes. I guess we could. But the wages are fine. They're more than fine. We're good. I'm happy. I'm comfortable.
The coal dust is horrible in here.
It is not at all. There is literally, we are not laborers. I would be embarrassed to call myself a laborer. But we have we're going to go do like a baseball practice. That's it. That's what I'm doing on my day.
As you know, as I do on almost every holiday.
You're working.
I'm working at Channel 10 because we don't take days off on television. Radio, we take days off.
Yeah.
But on TV, there are literally no days off. Christmas, Thanksgiving, Labor Day, even Paul's beloved Memorial Day. We still do the news at least 3 or 4 times a day.
Adam just said, did Stephen Wood say his hours are short? I'm stunned he didn't complain about doing 4 hours. I've never really complained about, I have. What I don't like, Adam, is when things are negotiated in contracts, but not agreed to. That's really my only beef. If you say you're going to do something, then you do it as a man of honor. I'm built different, though, so don't be like me. I'm built different, so that's it. That's really my only beef. It's not the 4 hours. I've done 4-hour shows since I started in radio. It's not that big a deal.
The problem is a 3-hour show is a little short. That's why we used to do foreplay, remember? Like you needed the little extra time before the 3-hour show.
That is not why we do 4 hours.
But a 4-hour show is a little long. We really need like a 3-hour and 25-minute show.
Is perfect, bro.
Is what we're going for in the future.
It's perfect. But like when you compare it to like people that labor, so my hat is off to you, to all the laborers.
I mean, we're not corn tasseling.
No, we are not corn tasseling. We're not working, construction. I feel like you're digging a hole here. So you'll be working.
See, I'm digging a hole. That's labor.
Have you? All right.
No one digs more holes than I do.
Question. I love you too, Adam. Have you ever dug a hole?
Great question.
Have you ever dug a hole?
Do you know what a shovel is?
Does on the beach count?
Not with your little plastic
shovel,
mommy.
I used to love trying to get as deep as I could, but then it would start filling with water.
Save that.
At the beach, digging holes.
Yes.
I mean, I've planted a plant before, so you had to dig a small hole to then put it in the ground and then put the dirt back on the plant.
But you've never
done in terms of
this, where you stick
a
it
well or something or
a
grave. No, I've never dug a grave or anything. Feels like it'd be impossible. You start going, it's like this ground is really hard.
Yeah.
Like how do you even get started on something like that?
When I was a little kid, you
got to step on the shovel to just
just
slam it into the ground.
Yeah, you can't do it barefoot.
Doesn't work. No.
Or in flip-flops.
No, flip-flops are bad for shovels.
You would be done. I like Has Been Ever. Have we done that bit?
It's not been
have
a while.
we done that?
No, we have. We used to do that all the time.
We did it all the time.
We did?
Has Been Ever was like a regular feature on the show.
How did we do it? What was the setup? Can you find an old one? I can't remember. I know it sounded familiar, but I think it's more fun of Has Been Ever. Have you ever checked your own oil? Have you lifted and pulled the ring out and checked it? Not changed it. That's tough. But have you ever checked your own oil?
No, I have not checked my own oil.
Never checked your own oil?
No, with the dipstick.
The dipstick.
No.
Never dug a hole.
Does the dipstick come with the car, or do you have to buy it separately?
No, it does.
It's there somewhere. So under my hood somewhere is a dipstick.
Yeah, I can show it to you when we get out of here.
Really?
I want to have you
show me my
dipstick. Have you
dipstick?
pull it out of.
Yeah.
I want to see him pull one out. I've done it.
Compare dipsticks.
Now I didn't know really what I was doing, but I have done it. You take it, you wipe the oil off.
I've
then
seen
you
that. No,
dip it
I
again.
see
dip it
where
again,
the level
see
is
where the
at.
level is.
So I remember when we were kids, you'd go to the gas station. It'd be full serve, and
Yeah.
they'd come out and
They do it.
and they'd wipe
Wipe
it.
it.
I don't know what they were. What are they looking for?
The level where it is.
level?
Like there's a line on there, and it tells you, oh, you're low.
Are
need
you
to-
looking for like how sludgy it is sometimes
No,
too?
I
though?
think maybe
Or,
the
like,
color, if you
clean
know what you're
color.
doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't know what I'm doing.
You could be like, I'm a
What's
quart
the right
low.
level?
Wherever that line is. You
That's
wanna
the
be
line. There's
at
a
the
line, and
Yeah.
you want to be at the line.
Yeah, this
so
is
there's
great.
like a tank that has the oil in it.
Paulie, what else? What else could we ask Ben if he's done before? Never dug a hole. You've hammered a nail.
I've hammered nails. Yes. I'm not good at it. It always.
Have you ever sawed
bends.
anything?
Have you ever sawed anything?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like what?
Wood, mostly.
But for what purpose? Fun? Like when you were a kid? I
mean we had. So we used to have a deck in our backyard, but it was starting to fall into disrepair.
Yeah, rot.
And we had occasionally like I'd step through a board,
the
so I'd have
worst
to pull
feeling.
it out, and then I'd have to. We had some plywood, like 2x4s. I
Yeah.
went to Home Depot, and I have to then cut them to match the
Hole.
piece that was the hole, and then I'd nail in.
Look at you. That's
the
pretty
wood.
handy. I'm going to give
It
you
didn't
that.
look great. That's why we ended up just taking out the whole deck.
But
because
you
it
were
was-
just patching it.
But it was
at
just
this point.
patching, like it was.
not bad.
Yeah, it was just kind of a Band-Aid on the problem.
Have you ever used a level?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, like when you're hanging paintings and you want to see if it's actually straight.
Have you ever been on a roof? Have you ever climbed up and been on a roof?
On a roof.
On a roof. That's a good one.
Like a slanted roof? No.
Yeah. Slanted
Like
roof.
flat roof, like, you go up and, I mean, I've been on the roofs of buildings.
Okay.
Like watching the sunset, but not actually like a slanted roof that you could fall off like Chevy
climbed
Chase.
up on the ladder, like on a ladder.
I've
to
climbed
the
up a
roof of
ladder
your
to like
home.
hang Christmas lights and stuff.
You've
but I've never.
your own Christmas
I
lights?
have, yes.
Oh, wow. That's impressive. I've never done that. I refuse.
We stopped doing it a few years ago because it just like
I refused.
didn't want to anymore. Clean out my gutters. I've done that.
I've done that
up on
too.
the ladder.
That's no fun.
No.
All right.
I've done some household chores.
I can't wait to show you your dipstick.
Have I ever cleaned? I cleaned my shower like 3 days
He does.
ago.
Yeah, he does. He does his own soft scrub. Matt says, "What kind of man are you?" I don't. That's
The
I don't
kind
know
that
that
doesn't check his own oil. There's a lot of us out there now.
I don't know that it makes you manly, but it's ring the bell. I get the bell rung on me when I even bring up the word manly.
We have washed the dog, although I've also taken them just to the groomer and let someone else do it.
Drew says this is blowing my mind. You've added air to your tires before.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I can do that.
All right. This
Change
is
the
great.
tire.
No, he's never done that.
No, I don't know where to put the jack.
The jack is the tricky part. It's the
At that
tricky
point, I think I could actually get the nuts off the tire and pull it off, but I don't know where the jack goes or how to
jack
jack
is
the car up.
We had a
Right under the door.
we had a Ford Explorer that had this weird, like, thing that you had to put it under, and it was just real flimsy, man. It was difficult for me.
I have cut my own grass in the past, but now I do have a gardener who comes each week. We have a very small plot of grass. I probably could do it myself, but
You do a lot.
I do a lot.
You do a lot.
Thanks.
I have a gardener. His name's Ben.
Really?
Yeah, it's a true story.
Ours is Franklin.
It's Ben. All right, we got to go to break.
We do. Oh, wow. That segment just flew by. Holy cow. Yeah, Paulie's got a Ryle report. We got the manager coming up. We got to keep moving here. I've never been so distracted by Has Been Ever. All right, we'll be back next with the Ryle report on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Everyone's stunned that you forgot about the segment of Has Been Ever.
I forgot the setup, I think.
Yeah, we had someone call in, and then there'd be a list of things, and you'd guess whether I had or had not done that thing in particular.
That was during, that was in the Corona Cave, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. I would like to hear it again at some point.
Paulie's got some editing to do if we ever get back to that.
I had one. We made a promo out of it.
Oh, we did? All right, let me hear it.
Start your morning on the right foot with Ben and Woods.
Has Ben ever paid for adult content? David, what are your thoughts?
I would say he has never knowingly paid for it.
Okay, so that's a no. Lock him in on a no. Ben, have you ever paid for adult content?
Oh my God!
Not recently, but yes.
Oh my God!
Ben and Woods.
What a great bit. Man, we used to do some fun
Back when we
bits.
were 5 to 9.
What? 5 to 9. What happened to us? We need some more bits like that. It was great.
Yeah,
it was really good.
Now
Was that fun for you?
Yeah,
that's kind of fun. All you have to do is say yes or no.
It was easy.
Yeah, it's easy.
If you guys have to go back to the Corona Cave for monkeypox, maybe creative juices will start
The
flowing.
next pandemic. We can't wait. We're so excited.
Hans Signal says it's a little crass. We're adults here.
Have you listened to the show?
It's adults
before?
25 to
It's Woods we're talking about.
I said adult content. I didn't. That's all I said. Adult content. Yeah, magazine. It was a magazine.
Yeah.
Sherry or something. We. Jugs.
Ooh la la.
Jugs. Was it Jugs?
No.
Oh, all right. You remember what it was?
Yes.
Hustler. That's right. We did this. It's all coming back.
You're remembering everything now. It's all coming back to you now.
It all came back
All
to
right.
me.
Let's check traffic, and then Paulie's going to give us some maybe crass, maybe not, in the Ryle Report next.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by MTS, reminding you that trolleys run every 15 minutes or better. Still have a couple of problems here, guys. Car fire on the Miramar Road off-ramp northbound 805. Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a solo spin out on the westbound 8 right at the southbound 163 connector. Don't let traffic drag your day down, especially today, whether headed to the office or game day. Go the easy way with MTS. Trolleys run every 15 minutes or better throughout the day. Learn more and plan your trolley trip at sdmts.com. That's sdmts.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Ryle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Ryle Report with Paul Ryle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Ryle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
Whoa. Shut up. Move on. Just move on.
Has Woods ever?
Just move on. Just move on, please.
Well, we might have to dig into that a little bit later. Oh, all right. Really?
Yeah.
Currently?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Don't ask.
We're making everybody insanely
Basically,
curious
I just
right
said,
now.
I mean, what kind of idiot pays for that kind of content
Stared at
in
Paulie.
2024? You got the whole internet. It's free. Huh. Okay.
Woods is a man of taste, though. He likes the upgrades in life.
I do.
He likes the upgrades.
I get rooked. I get rooked. I'm the Welsh friar of the show. Just a rube.
That took me back. I was not expecting that.
A lot of surprises today.
Yeah, a lot of surprises. All right, we'll start off in the NFL. I was reading this. They do this every year. ESPN polled over 100 NFL players to anonymously answer some questions about their fellow players. Questions like, who's the GOAT? And if it's not Mahomes, what does he have to do to get there? 85% of the 100 people polled said Tom Brady is still the GOAT.
Okay.
7 people actually already voted for Mahomes. And several other players had others listed. Neither Mahomes or Brady.
Who gets the votes? Joe Montana, perhaps?
It doesn't say. It just had
Barry
Brady
Sanders,
or Mahomes.
maybe?
One guy says, no disrespect.
Was it just quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Greatest of all time. Somebody says, no disrespect for Tom. This is an NFC South player, but I'm taking Pat. Pat can do everything Tom can do, and he's mobile.
And then some. Yeah, I mean, when it's all said and done, maybe he's got the hardware too.
I'd say he's on the right trajectory.
Definitely on the
He's
trajectory.
on the right track.
But right now, Brady's the GOAT.
I'm sorry, I got distracted by a video on Twitter.
Oh.
Did you pay for it?
No. You know, the Paralympics are going on in Paris right now. This is Chinese swimmer who is smoking the field.
Really?
He has no arms.
What?
And the other swimmers do. And he is just kicking and just like, it's amazing.
God.
It's amazing.
Retweet it.
I will retweet it right now. He actually finished second, but part of it was, he got beat out right at the wall because he has to swim his head right into the side of the wall instead of touching it like the rest of the swimmers, which doesn't seem
That is unreal.
that fair. We don't really cover the Paralympics that much, but it really is an absolutely incredible and inspirational event that they hold right after the Olympics every 4 years. I mean, that is. Did you see the retweet? He's the guy in the nearest lane.
Yeah, I'm about to pull it up.
With
It's not great for radio.
it's not great, but I mean, I'm just sorry. I just got Chinese swimmer and that was unbelievable.
He hates the Rhino Report so
I
much.
did.
He
That's-
watches
yeah,
Chinese
I get
swimmer
it.
videos in the Paralympics when the Rhino Report is going on.
I get it. Anyways.
I was also watching wheelchair rugby earlier.
All right.
Which was, I mean, like they're crashing and fall,
Yeah.
like spilling over, and
Crazy,
it was
man.
gnarly.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
it was intense.
Well, the headline from the NFL's poll was that the most overrated quarterback question.
Most overrated.
Most overrated quarterback. This is
Okay.
from 100 players currently in the NFL.
Oh, the old
anonymously.
anonymous, yep.
Yeah, any guesses?
Overrated. Justin Herbert.
Oh, my God.
He's
I
on the
knew it was
list in
coming.
others receiving votes.
Okay.
There's one that had 11
Deshaun
votes.
Watson.
Well, I mean, they fawn over how good he is, even though he's led his team to nothing at all.
It's not all his fault. He's a
It's
good
not all his
quarterback.
fault. Just
We
like
would-
it wasn't all Phillip Rivers' fault that the Chargers didn't win anything, but they do a lot of fawning over him.
Could you imagine how much fawning you would do over him if he were here? Staggering amounts of fawning. The defense
I
of
don't
Justin
dislike him.
No,
I'm
he's
just saying,
great.
to be overrated, people have to kind of fawn over you a lot.
So there was a tie
Dak.
for second place. Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa. They each had 10 votes. Others were Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, and Brock Purdy.
Okay.
But the number one most overrated quarterback, according to NFL Players Asked, Josh Allen.
I like Josh Allen.
He's got good arm strength.
He does.
He gets him right there on the brink of a Super Bowl.
Throws a lot of picks, man.
Yeah.
Lots of picks.
Brock Purdy got some overrated votes.
Yeah.
I feel like he's underrated.
All he does is win.
It was the dead last pick in the draft.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Isn't anything
kinda-
he does at this
Yeah,
point
it's
like
all gravy.
a positive
All of
surprise
it.
and gravy
Yes,
now?
Yes, Mr. Irrelevant.
How can he be overrated?
I know.
Makes like no
It
money.
makes no sense.
How can he be overrated?
All right, we'll wait to get Woods' thoughts on Steph Curry's $62 million contract extension for 1 year.
A lot of
by the
dough,
way,
man.
$62 million
He's
for
great,
1
though.
year. We will talk about. Ben likes things. I love music biopics.
Me too. Huge fan.
Movies just focused on the story. You know,
I'll watch
not
any
a
of them.
documentary.
No,
but
I'll watch any of them.
Ray, Walk the Line.
Walk the line. All of them.
Straight out of
La
Compton.
Bamba we just talked
La Bamba,
about.
we talked about that one. Well, we got a new one coming out today. And it's about Frank Sinatra. And it features Scott Stapp.
Yeah, we did a promo. This is one of our promos.
4 years ago, this was like being talked about and in production, and it's finally out. Creed, Scott Stapp is playing Frank Sinatra.
So actually, Paulie, it's a Ronald Reagan biopic.
Oh, it's Ronald Reagan.
It's Ronald Reagan's biopic.
Yes.
He just makes like a cameo as Frank
Okay, this
Sinatra,
story's
which
gassing it up like he's the featured
No.
star.
which
in the
makes more
movie.
sense.
Who plays Ronald Reagan?
I don't know. Oh wait, is it Quaid?
Yes.
It's Dennis
Oh,
Quaid.
yeah, Dennis
yeah,
Quaid.
it's Dennis Quaid. Yeah, I don't
And
know
I
if
got-
I'll see that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Here's what Scott Stapp looks like as Frank Sinatra. If you're watching on
Again,
YouTube.
not for the people listening in their car. He looks.
Does he pull it off?
No.
Not
I mean,
really.
he looks like Scott Stapp singing. That's what he does. He does not look like Frank Sinatra.
I mean, he's
but
dressed like Frank Sinatra,
Yeah.
and they kind of got his hair
pretty right.
sort of like Frank Sinatra.
Sure.
But other than that, he does not look like old Blue Eyes.
That is wild, man.
Yeah, I think I'll skip that one.
Yeah, I probably won't see that one either. I don't know, for the presidential biopics are not great. Lincoln it was great performance, put me dead asleep.
They're long.
They're long. FDR, I think, was one.
Nixon.
Nixon.
Mm.
It's not great. That's it?
That's it.
All right, thank you, Paulie.
Paulie's now playing the video of the Chinese swimmer that had me so distracted earlier.
Really got you.
It did. Well, watch when he comes up to the line, because normally you just touch the end of the pool, and that's how it. But he has to.
God, he is smoking.
He has to
fools.
swim his head right into the side of the pool, like at full speed. That just feels unfair and kind of unsafe. Like you have to swim this whole race without arms, and then you get a concussion at the end by going full speed into the side of the pool, so you're not like slowing down at the last second to lose.
He uses his. I'm gonna watch it right now.
He ended up getting
my God,
the
he sure
silver
does.
medal, but he just barrels at full speed into the side of the pool.
That's incredible.
It's incredible.
Incredible.
Absolutely incredible.
I'm definitely not going to complain about being tired. Yeah. This guy's out there swimming with no arms and crushing. All right. Good perspective, buddy. Thank you.
Speaking of tired, looked like a bit of a tired ball club the last couple of days in St. Louis. And again, it's not an indictment on those guys.
Understandable.
In fact, it's in some ways, it shows how hard and they've been grinding all season. You know, Grit Squad takes a lot of energy to do what they've been doing, and you throw them on a road trip, 18 days, 18 games, and 105 degrees with humidity. Yeah, maybe a little out of gas. I doubt Mike Schultz going to make any excuses. That doesn't seem like it's his MO to alibi anything, as he likes to say. But we will talk about the series with the manager, Mike Schultz, the manager's report, look ahead. Tampa Bay Rays get an injury update on a little progress being made by the three key guys who are still out but are closing in on a return for the San Diego Padres. We'll get to all of that coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Woods was just asking me, what's the Padres record since the All-Star break? So just did a quick look up. 26-11. That's slightly over a 700 winning percentage.
Pretty good, man.
7 out of 10 games since the All-Star break.
Yep.
Pretty darn good.
It's good pace.
Padres are in a stretch of 18 games in 18 days. They got 4 left. It's not the finish line, obviously, but definitely that was a lot of energy expelled in St. Louis. And it's time now for our Manager's Report. Our Manager's Report each week with Mike Schilt is brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking. It is better. And joining us from St. Petersburg, Florida, I'd imagine, is the skipper of the San Diego Padres, Mike Schilt. Mike, good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon now here.
Oh, that's right.
As you said, rightly in St. Pete. And hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah,
great.
St. Pete, where you're going to play inside,
Thank
which,
God.
I mean, I don't love inside baseball. It's not real baseball, but I've got to imagine after those last 4 days, it's probably a welcome change. It looked awfully hot and miserable there in St. Louis. And I'm not saying that's an excuse or anything. It's certainly not both teams playing it, but it just didn't look like it was fun for either team necessarily.
It was steamy. It was St. Louis at its finest. I mean, there's a lot of good things there. It's a beautiful stadium and great place to play. Typically that time of year there, it can start to cool down, but the heat waves try to stayed with us, and it was 4 days of sweltering heat for sure.
We learned about corn sweat this week, Schulte. Somebody told us that the corn sweats, and it makes it even hotter in St. Louis. And I just think about Dylan Cease, and I'm like, man, he has got to have sweated through at least 2 jerseys. What? It just zaps you. I mean, you spent a ton of time there, and are you ever really prepared to play in it if you don't play in it regularly?
It's definitely acquired. These are professional athletes that condition themselves for those type of environments. We do take care of them, prior to the game. Our medical staff and our strength conditioning staff are really phenomenal. How they operate and how they keep guys on the field, how they train for the guys. The players get all the credit, but in my time there, you actually got to normalize it. It did become a competitive advantage. Yachty, he'd play every day. He'd have probably caught this time of year all 4 games, and he'd gone out and taken ground balls before the game, and he did that. He'd do that, because he loved baseball. That's part of it. He just loved baseball. He loved playing, but he also, there was a mental game with that he was playing, not only with the opposing team, because you looked up and this guy's catching every single inning, day game, night game, and getting after it. And then you see him take ground balls for the game in it, and it's like, and you're a visiting team, it's like, it was intentful to A, he enjoyed it, B, to demoralize the other team, and C, to show his own teammates, like, nah, man, we're not giving into this environment. Like, I'm out there catching every night. I'm still going to get my ground balls and come play the game. And so it had a lot of residual effect.
I'm going to start coming in 2 hours early and just broadcast to myself, just to freak everybody else out, just to give a little bit of extra effort. I had no idea about that story, and I think that's riveting stuff.
Yeah.
So I know
that's separated.
I know I heard you before the series, and you said kind of downplayed the return to St. Louis. It's not about you; it's about a team. You got the Padres to worry about. But how did it go for you? Were there any surprise reunions? Anything that notable did happen in your return to St. Louis?
It was great because you leave there and I didn't get any closure, and it's not about me, and never will be, but. To answer the question, and share more than maybe you want. Personally, it was that was a hard way to leave.
Sure.
And I had been back to St. Louis for a couple of Alberts events in the off seasons that I've historically gone to for years. I want to support the Pujols Foundation, but otherwise I hadn't been back to that stadium clearly, and so I didn't have that closure of leaving. And you don't know. You think you know how you're going to be received. And man, I couldn't have been more pleased. And and grateful for not only the support of the fan base and the people in and around, but the people that I got a chance to work with so closely and see, whether it's, you know, Terry in the parking garage or, you know, Rip, the visiting clubhouse guy, or, you know, I could name literally, you know, 100 people that came in and, you know, either sent a note over or came in and gave me a hug or sat down. And, you know, it's really cool. You know, like Ozzie came over and we sat down for 45 minutes and talked. Ted Simmons came in the day after and talked. Jimmy Edmonds and Jason Isringhausen, and, you know, those are names people know, but, you know, people I spent a lot of time with over there. And then like I said, you know, between, you know, field crew and, you know, clubhouse guys and, you know, people that worked in the front, you know, greeting people, my girl Aggie, who's just a treasure. You know, I keep going on, but man, it was just so nice to have people, you know, extend themselves and, you know, just catch up, and the support and the you know, appreciation was really high. So it meant a lot to me.
That's awesome. We're talking to Mike Schilt here on Ben and Woods this morning, and you talked after the game yesterday about the lunch pail guys, and we were just talking about one with Yachty. You know, guys out there playing 9 innings every single day. Jurickson said a couple days ago, man, I'm having a really good year. It means I've been running a ton. I'm tired, you know, and it's hot and all of that. But I wanted to ask you, when you're kind of planning ahead, it's got to be a tough balancing act for you, or maybe it's not, but coming into September, division's still in place, certainly, and you got some really good teams, everyone's scrapping for a seat at the table. When it comes to those lunch pail guys, how do you plan, or do you plan on trying to get those guys a blow from, you know, here and there?
Well, I think we've done it. I think it's a blend. I'll give you a longer answer, give you my opinion. And, you know, really it comes down to communication with the players, but this is the time of year you play. I mean, this is what you play for, right?
True.
I mean, this is what, again, I alluded to Yachty. Not everybody's Yachty. You know, we got guys that, like Manny he answered the bell, man. Profar answered the bell. Merrill answered the bell. They all answered the bell. But now's the time when the bell goes off.
Yeah.
You know, it's what we play for, boys. You know, so yeah, there's not naive to also making sure guys are fresh and guys are, you know, ready to compete. But the reality is, you know, you said earlier and correctly, you know, both sides are trying too.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, a lot of that's done. I also alluded to it earlier on the forefront being the conditioning that these guys do in the off season, how they take care of themselves during the season, how we partner with them and take care of them prior to games. You know, for example, in St. Louis, you know, and even before that, we were really mindful in this stretch of games. You know, we had some later reports. We had some really crisp and short work. We had more individual work. Hey, what do you need to get ready for that first pitch? Because that's what's most important right now. We've you know, we've taken a lot of ground balls. We've taken a lot of BP. Still need to take them. Still need to keep our skills sharp, but we don't need to go out there and just grind on it every day. So we partner with what the players need, and then talk to them about, you know, how they're feeling. If they need a day, they get a day. If they can go, they go. You know, we've been able to pass around, you know, the DH spot, you know, pretty liberally and give guys a blow there. You know, Bogey got a break yesterday. He did come up and, you know, took a good teammate on the day off to taking a bat in the 8th. You know, Manny's going to DH today. Rise is going to get a blow today. You know, Solano's in there. You know, Crony's passed around the DH spot. Bogey's, like I said, had the day. You know, Higgy caught 3 out of 4. You know, Jackson got a day off, you know, in Colorado. You know, so just a combination of all of it. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's the time of the year for competition.
Love it.
Speaking of, we just mentioned Jurickson. I was watching the game on Wednesday at work, and when he came up in the 9th inning, bunted, and a guy next to me said, "Why did Schulte have him bunt there?" And I go, "He didn't. He trusts Jurickson to just make the right call in a baseball situation, and Jurickson thought the bunt was the good player. He got the guy over." My question to you is, you obviously trust the instincts of veteran players like Manny and Jurickson who have played the game and know what winning baseball looks like. How long does it take, though, like with a younger player, like a Jackson Merrill, like a rookie, before you kind of trust them to make those calls themselves versus you and the coaching staff kind of making those decisions during the game?
Good question. Long answer, probably. I'm confident in this. Championship players think and do for themselves. Players in real time that are competing, yeah, we give them structure. I don't sit over there and just, hang out and watch the game. I've got my duty to it as well, and I don't alibi that duty. But championship players see the game, play the game, and the analogy I use is, a lot of quarterbacks audible, right? They have the freedom to audible, and the best quarterbacks that know what they're doing, that can see things in real time, that can make a decision in competition because they've seen it and are trusted to do that. A lot of those guys have ended up with Super Bowl rings. The guys that aren't getting trusted with it or don't have the ability to do it, it doesn't happen as much. So I just believe in any sport that's important, and also allows players to play free. Everybody likes to be trusted, but it's not blind. And then so it's a combination of things. So it's, with the veteran player, it's with all the players, actually, it's a preparation prior to the game that takes place, that the staff does, that distills what's becoming, which is great. More and more information every day, every year to factor in, then distill it down to simple and actionable for our team approach or that individual player based on their skill set and what they're actually, able to do. And then we, staff, work with the player to talk through, like, hey, this is what you're going to see. These are the guys, Bryce Johnson, Tyler Wade. These are the guys you can bunt on. They fall off the mound this way. This guy doesn't throw to a base. This guy's going to, we can take advantage of him at first, and so they know every pitcher, and the corner guys and the catchers who they can bunt on. And then when the situation calls for it, they do it. And they worked on it. So that's an example of how it works. Back to the younger player, it is a learned thing. They take their cue at its best, which we've been able to have. It's happened here, which I'm really, really, really thrilled with. It's happened sooner than I thought, but it's important for a winning club to have, and that's your veteran players that A, want to play, B, want to prepare, C, have high baseball IQs, and then D, have the willingness and the desire to share it. Those boxes don't get checked at every turn, but they get checked off in our club between Manny, Profar, Toddy, Crony, Arise, Solano, Peralta. So, Tyler Wade's been a great guy to help pour into Jackson as well and our younger players. So they're available to it. And then the second part of that is you have to have the young player that also has some idea of preparation and a baseball IQ. And then, believe it or not, willing to listen. I've been in situations with a couple clubs that younger players came up, didn't want to listen, didn't want to take advice from veteran players. Veteran players tuned out. Younger players thought they had it figured out, and lo and behold, those teams didn't go very far. So there's no guarantee to this. So that's why I applaud everybody in our clubhouse for having that open-minded willingness to share and grow each other. And then the other part with the young player that it's important that we're gaining ground on, I feel like, in the organization is the player development piece for the young player. There is an expectation, there is an expectation that a young player comes to us with a baseline of things of understanding how to play the game, how to prepare, how to see the game, how to play the game, how to be able to share and see the game and communicate. So that's really, really important as well, because it has to start with some baseline, which gets to be more of a challenge, not only in our organization, but just in general in baseball with young players, because they move so fast. because their physical ability is so really special right now with young players at talent level. Guys, between pitching and playing, I mean, the skill set of these young players is really, really impressive. But, they have big league talent, but they have, still have maybe minor league mindsets. But they get rushed here so quickly that their understanding and comprehension how to really see and play the game and trust that is behind. So, but that's our job as well, to help with that learning curve.
That's pretty cool that you say that. Talking to Mike Schilt here on Ben and Woods this morning, because we just talked to Mason McCoy yesterday. We asked him, other than the post-game spread and, the locker rooms and all that, what's the biggest difference in the big leagues and the minor leagues? He goes, people that actually want to win every day in the big leagues.
It's not about development. It's about winning now.
It's about winning, and I think that was a really cool story that you told, and that he basically confirmed yesterday. Really, really solid stuff.
Yeah, thing about player development that I think also, again, I'm coming from a player development background. It's my heart. That's my bloodlines. Is you can do both. The trap for I feel like a lot of player development systems is the crutch of, which I get, don't get me wrong, it is about development. You're going to give the guy an extra opportunity against the lefty, but when it becomes about just the sterile, we're going to get so many at bats, and and you got there so many pitches and change ups, and you got there a percentage of cutters or whatever, it sends the message to the player. It's about it's just about development. And oh, by the way, if you win, great. No. You play to win.
That's right.
You teach players how to win in the development process. That's part of their development. But anyway, that's another conversation.
Gonna let you go, but just quickly, an update on the three that everyone always wants to know about: Tatis, Kim, and Darvish. I understand none of them are with your team right now, which is probably good news.
It's good news. We always love to have them. Great to have you back. But the good news is they're ramping up their baseball activities and getting closer to coming back. There's no dates. There's some tentative dates that I will not share with you. But there are some planning going on. But the good news is, and I won't share them only because they can change, right?
Sure,
we understand.
Yeah, you want to lock yourself in. I get it.
You sound happy that you're not sharing them, but we totally understand, Mike. We get it.
Yeah,
we get it.
Everybody wants to know. I get it. I don't want to, hold back on anybody. But the reality is, it's really anytime the players come back from an injury, it's playing that day, get to work in that day, take inventory of how it feels, and adjust the plan accordingly. And you clearly hope that it moves forward in a positive direction. And our medical staff again is tremendous here. Hughes throwing 4 innings, simulated game today. So that'll be good. He'll get his pitches in, and we'll evaluate that and see what the next step is for him. Cotty's getting a ton of live at bats down there. Saw some video yesterday. It looked very Tatis-like. I think he hurt some guys' feelings.
Good.
Yep. And Kimmy's, getting back to taking some swings and extending out his throwing. But he's as you would expect, or maybe not. His swings ahead of his throwing. He feels more, comfortable with being able to swing, which is obviously great. But he is going to need to be able to throw. And well, that's feeling good is still going to take longer to progress.
All right, great talking with you, Skip. We'll see you when you get home next week. Good luck this weekend against Tampa Bay.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
There he is. Good stuff today from the manager, Mike Schilt. Our manager's report brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking; it's better.
Man, I got a little fired up. I'm kind of fired up right now.
That was a good one today.
Yeah, I'm really fired up.
That was a good one today. A lot of good insight from the manager. We'll break down some of what we just heard when we get in. We'll look ahead to this series against the Tampa Bay Rays after a quick timeout, traffic, and then more Ben and Woods coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan. Again, thanks to the manager, Mike Schilt, who had some good stuff today. Didn't even get a chance. I was going to ask him about Elias Diaz. I saw he homered yesterday for El Paso, and there is a chance they could call him up as soon as Sunday or maybe Monday when they get back and when the rosters expand. Remember, the Padres get one more position player and one more pitcher in the month of September. It's not an unlimited roster expansion like it used to be.
Yeah, those were the days, huh?
But a couple of more bodies is probably a welcome news for Mike Schilt and the coaching staff.
It's got to be. And the thought that like feeling pretty good about your playoff chances right now. Maybe get some guys some breathers. No, he's like, yeah, I mean,
but when Kim and Tatis come back, it's just going to make it easier to get guys a little more rest down the stretch if it's needed. And Darvish coming back is going to help the pitching staff in that respect. You go to a 6-man rotation. I mean, you keep Martin Perez in there, or do you go to a 5-man rotation? The number of off days, which ramp up, you actually probably would worry about. Now we're only pitching everybody once a week.
Yeah.
Is that enough
Every 7
down the
days,
stretch,
right.
or is that ideal to get them ready for the playoffs? And I think we'll probably find out more about that next week and as they go on.
You know, man, I don't know. Like, I think just logic. Doesn't logic tell you that if you're getting guys more rest, and I know that they're on routines, I know they're routine-based, but you can change your routine a little bit. You can change your routine. If Mike Schilt went through his starters, Benny, and he was throwing them every 5th day, and then they got to October and were just flamed out, but you had the chance to rest them, you weren't scrapping for a playoffs, you know what I mean? I think that would be cause for some opinions about it, right? But if he does it the right way, the proper way with the off days and everything else, what are we complaining about? Like, you get your guys in there, they're rested, they're ready to go, maybe a little sharper. I have no problem with that.
And maybe it's somewhat coincidental. I kind of doubt it, but it works out that Michael King, who's probably the guy in the rotation they're most concerned about innings and pitches, throws yesterday. Well, there's now 4 more games and then an off day. So they can stay on regular rotation, and he'll get an extra day because of that Tuesday off day. It works out well, and I doubt that was totally coincidental. I'm sure they look ahead. They're not just thinking, okay, what's the next trip through the rotation? They're looking 2, 3, 4 trips down the rotation to see what's going to work best for the schedule. And it seems like it's good for Michael King that he's going to get an extra day before that next start against the Tigers, likely on Wednesday next week.
No question, man. No question. I have no problem with it.
So when we talked to Mike Schilt, he said Fernando Tatis Jr. might have hurt some feelings when he was taking some at-bats.
You could tell he was smiling. Yeah, he was smiling when
What do you think that means exactly?
Well, it means he's crushing souls out there.
Right. Like you're facing Fernando Tatis Jr., and you're a presumably kind of a prospect kid who's in Arizona right now. I don't know that you're expecting to get him out, but you're also facing.
He's launching it so far that you're going, is this the right sport for me?
Yeah. Should I have gone back to school?
This guy has not played in 2.5 months, and he's just picked up a bat and is just murdering the ball.
I'm not going to get excited. I'm not going to get excited.
That's kind of what he was implying.
That's the best way he could have described it.
I'm not going to get excited.
Hurting some feelings.
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
I wonder, now, he said, I'm not going to give you dates, and we totally understand why. You set a date, all of a sudden there's now expectations, and you don't want to lock anyone in. You don't want anyone to think that because you said, oh, he'll be back Wednesday, and then it's not Friday. Well, what setback did he have? What went wrong? Yeah. What's the problem? Maybe nothing.
Bro, Dave Roberts is going through it right now in L.A. so bad with Tyler Glass now because of one statement he made 3 weeks ago. It has changed, Ben, every time he's been asked about it since. And now we hope he comes back. You know what I mean? And it came from, just a little precaution. And I actually thought when they put Glass now on the IL at first, I went, those SOBs.
They're doing it again.
They're manipulating. They're doing something untoward here. Turns out, no. And he really dug himself into a hole with the LA media and the fan base because he was like, it's fine, everything's fine. And then here we go, and he might be alive. I don't know. I mean, it's that dire for them right now with him.
My guess, and it was already kind of trending this way, but based on what Mike Schilt said, my guess is that they're not going to feel the need to send Fernando to AAA for a couple of days. They're going to be comfortable that when he says he's ready,
he's ready.
He's ready.
All right.
and just bring him right back.
I'm ready. My body's ready. I can see him next week.
I think they'll probably have a discussion, and they'll go, should we send him down? And they'll go, so what? He can go 5 for 8 with 3 home runs for El Paso,
or even worse, 0 for 8
either
with
way,
no home runs.
Neither of them are good. Let's just put him back in our lineup
100%.
and get what we get when he returns.
100%.
That's my guess, at least, as to how that's going to progress.
Yeah, no question.
Kim, he mentioned, hitting
doesn't sound like.
It's the throwing, because it was his throwing shoulder, so they're being a little careful with that, and that's what's stretching it out just a little bit more, but didn't sound overly concerned. And Darvish, 4 innings today in a simulated game. That's probably, 60 pitches or so, 50 to 60 pitches for Darvish today. That would probably set him up for maybe a rehab start then on Wednesday next week, and possibly a return to the Padres. I would think maybe at the following weekend or early the following week after that, if everything goes well. So that's just, you can kind of read between the lines as to when players might be returning. But it sounds like Tatis is getting real close. Kim, as soon as he can throw, should be back.
That'd be good.
And Darvish, give him a couple more rehab starts, simulated games, and then see him in about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
26 games to go, buddy. Here we go. Crunch time.
All right. I saw in our chat, someone said they are nervous about Martin Perez tonight. Look ahead to the opener to the 3-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays, the matchups for this series at Tropicana Field. We'll do that in our final segment. Coming up next year with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Floor and Decor. You were supposed to fill in the blank there. Unbeatable prices.
I was?
I was going to test you. Unmatched in-stock selection. Floor and
more
Decor. That's more styles of laminate, vinyl, tile, wood, and stone for anyone looking for the right look at the right
time.
Price. Your next beautiful space is at Floor and Decor. Floor and Decor. Unbeatable prices. Unmatched in-stock
service
selection.
You know, you have the same script.
I do?
On your rundown.
Oh, yeah, it's right there.
You do. Just testing you.
I'll get my chance, Paulie, next Thursday and Friday.
I like that I
With
can
Ben's
give
in
you
LA.
a 15-second break while I read that most of the time.
Yeah.
You can plan something more important, like what you think about the upcoming matchups here between the Padres and the Tampa Bay Rays. We'll get to that after our last check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
If you happen to be heading out of town for Labor Day weekend and you haven't left yet, good luck, because the roads are going to get even busier as the day progresses. Yeah, travel experts are saying that to leave by 11 a.m., definitely a good idea. Yesterday afternoon's commute, terrible, and I'm expecting this afternoon's commute not to be much better, so brace yourself for that. Meanwhile, we are wrapping things up on a pretty good note here. We do have reports of a possible encampment fire, though, westbound 8. At the northbound 5 connector, some smoke visible from the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Woodsy was saying yesterday, Padres will be facing some good pitching, good starting pitching in this series. All 3 starters scheduled for the Tampa Bay Rays have season ERAs under 4, starting with Taj Bradley tonight, 3.77. Shane Baz tomorrow, 3.48, and Ryan Pepio on Sunday, 3.61. So not a lot of guys who have given up a ton of offense.
Taj hasn't been that great in the second half, but
So,
I mean, the Astros got him, the Dodgers got him. I mean, that's
So I was just looking at that because I think it was Carlos in the chat said I'm a little kind of nervous about Martin Perez tonight. In the last 4 starts, Taj Bradley has allowed 20 runs.
Yeah.
In all 5 of his starts with the Padres, Martin Perez has allowed 8 runs total.
It's crazy, man. He's
much hotter pitcher going into this game than Bradley is.
And he's susceptible to that solo shot and then maybe another solo shot later.
That's kind of been the MO.
It's just been the MO. If that
It's
continues.
been one or two. That's it.
He did not. His last outing wasn't great. The walks really, really got him early. But listen, I mean, indoors, good location. You know, I feel as confident with Martin Perez on the bump these days as I have in a long time. So down to just see how this one plays out tonight. You can get to Taj Bradley. It's been done in the second half.
Again, it's different sort of baseball than you're used to. I mean, even like the outfielders, I'm sure they will have to be out there taking fly balls, looking up into that roof,
the white roof.
They got to learn
that even get approved.
The dumbest.
Learn
every
the ground
year, man.
rules.
Also,
so if it hits the roof, it's in play. If it hits here, it's foul. If it hits here, it's a home run.
There. Yeah.
It's different than anywhere else you're going to play. I mean, they play in Arizona with the roof closed pretty often, but for some reason it's not the same. That roof is much higher and less of a factor than the one in Tampa. So that's something
you see
that
weird
you're
stuff
have
happen.
Yeah,
you do. You see
that's
weird
something
stuff.
you're going to have to kind of get used to. Tomorrow, Padres, have they not named a starter for tomorrow? It was Randy Vasquez took it last time, I believe.
I think it's him, isn't it?
But TBD certainly listed right now. And then Sunday, Dylan Cease to close out the road trip. You've got him in reserve. I know they didn't. They don't always win when Dylan Cease pitches, but you always feel good that you're going to have a shot when he's on the mound. So he'll be the last guy of this road trip before you come home on Monday to face the Detroit Tigers.
All right.
Tampa Bay is like one of those teams that you got to learn all about once again.
Yeah, they're and the other thing about them is they're just thorny. They're just a thorny team. And like you said, they traded us, Jason Adam. They've unloaded some pieces there, but they're just an irritant. They're an irritant type team.
But they shouldn't be as good and dangerous as they generally are. Given their payroll and everything.
And they're just a thorny team. They got a good manager. They got good arms. They develop players well. But they're working through some stuff too, Benny. As far as guys playing for. I
mean,
they've lost. They
traded two of their top offensive players in Isak Paredes and Randy Arozarena. They're gone. They still have Yandy Diaz, right? Yeah.
No,
they don't. He's traded too?
They do not have Yandy. Who is Yandy Diaz?
Their first baseman? I think they do.
Yandy, they do.
Yandy,
yes. I was thinking of Yandy.
I think he's their leading hitter right now. I mean, it's not
Christopher Merrill.
It's not an offense that particularly scares you. That's Brandon Lau.
Does
he pronounce it Lau or
I think
Low?
it's Low.
Which one pronounces it Lau?
There's a Josh Lau.
Lau and Low. I get very confused by
We'll learn all about it this week. This is for the broadcasters to tell us.
We've got that prospect Junior Caminero that they brought up.
He's hurt.
He's hurt too.
I believe so.
Wow,
yeah.
So it is a weakened lineup.
Yeah.
To be sure.
We got this.
But good pitching staff.
Good pitching
Always
staff.
going to have some good pitching.
Pete Fairbanks has served it up this year. So if you can get, he's served it up a lot, actually.
Give him his 16
give
minutes
him
of sulk this weekend.
Give him 48 minutes of sulk this weekend.
That'd be a good thing.
That'd be fantastic.
Heck, maybe we just don't have to see him because he usually comes in when they have a lead in the ninth inning. I'm hoping that's not the case 3 straight days.
I am too, man.
For the Tampa Bay Rays.
I am too, but Pods are in a good spot, certainly, and excited about it.
The other, obviously, series we're going to be keeping our eye on would be the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. It starts tonight in a interesting matchup in Game 1.
Yeah. Game is on Apple TV tonight.
Oh, that's right.
The Apple TV game. Now tell everybody again what we can do if you have Apple TV.
If you have Apple TV and you go to the audio settings, usually it's kind of down in the right corner of the
tower,
screen.
like a satellite tower.
Yeah, and you click on that, and they'll give you the option of the TV audio, the home radio audio, or the visiting radio audio. You'll want to select the visiting radio audio, and it'll automatically sync up Jesse and Tony with the TV broadcast, so you can actually listen to them while you watch the game on television.
Yeah, good video.
I love the
It's a
visual
great
of
broadcast,
Apple TV is
but
so
their
good.
if you end up listening to their broadcast, it's not great. So listen to our
The
broadcast.
quality of the picture is outstanding.
Outstanding.
I do get caught up in the what chance
Numbers,
they have
yeah.
to get a hit on every single pitch. Okay, he's got a 22% chance. Oh, ball 2. Okay, now he's got a 25% chance.
Let's be honest. By caught up, you mean you're also doing it in real time with them.
Kind of.
And-
I get caught up, I stare at it.
Yes.
Fact checking Apple. It's like, actually, it's a 23% chance.
Right. Yeah.
It's so why do you have now a worse chance, more of a chance of striking out, even though it's there's a reason behind all of it, but then I start thinking about these numbers that they keep throwing at me on this broadcast.
Just watch the game and enjoy yourself. Enjoy the
There's
ride.
probably a way to take those numbers off the screen or something. It's Apple. They try to give you so many choices, but I don't know who the actual broadcasters are, but I guess it doesn't matter if you switch it over to Jesse and Tony and listen that way. And then is Sunday's a normal game, or is it I think Sunday and Saturday and Sunday are normal TV games. It's a 1 o'clock start Saturday, so 12:10 Eco Water SoCal pregame show tomorrow, and then 10:40 on Sunday, so 9:40 with the Eco Water pregame show on Sunday morning.
Like that.
Get your baseball a little early in the day.
I like that a lot.
On a Sunday. All right, the other series keeping an eye on, obviously, is the Dodgers in Arizona taking on the Diamondbacks. 6:40 tonight. Clayton Kershaw, Zach Gallen in Game 1 of the series.
Good one.
Big one for both teams. They both feel like you want to grab that one to set the tone for this series.
I'd like to see a lot of blown saves, a lot of extra innings, a lot of confidence shattered on both teams. I don't know. I can't root for the Dodgers, so I'm going to root for the Diamondbacks, I guess, but I don't really want to root for them either.
It'll be Gavin Stone, Merrill Kelly tomorrow at 5:10. Sunday is a Roku game. Dodgers undecided against Brandon Pfaadt for the Diamondbacks. And then Monday to wrap up the series is a 1:10 start, Jack Flaherty and Eduardo Rodriguez. So Diamondbacks, have got most of their good pitchers lined up for this series. Dodgers, sort of. Their starting pitching is definitely their biggest question mark.
Yeah, Stone's pretty good
at this point. Stone's been throwing really well. Kershaw's been throwing pretty well since August came, and the Padres lit him up at the end of July. But then you've got some undecideds. Flaherty's been all right since they got him. Not maybe as good as he was in Detroit, but he's been all right.
Yeah,
correct?
he's been good.
Okay.
Do you guys want to do this? I'm down to do it if you guys want to.
We don't have enough time.
Now we don't have enough time.
Now we're out of time?
Yeah.
Oh, I blew it. Sorry.
I was stretching because we were just going to play the new likes, which are only like a minute and a half, Paulie said.
Which is,
we debuted them at 7 o'clock.
The long one's very long.
The long one is really long.
It's too long.
I think people would get tired of it.
I think they would too, even with the new ones. 5 straight minutes?
At some point, there'll be a time and a place for it. Somewhere, sometime.
Yeah, when you leave for your golf trip in a couple weeks.
There you go.
Paulie and I'll play it over and over and over for like an hour.
Yeah.
He leaves on vacation. All we do is just play his likes the whole day. Because we like to get weird when Benny's out. I Need Money says don't. People are saying do it. Now don't do it. So we can't. We're out of time. But we can play the new one that Paulie put together today.
We will.
Yeah.
Anything? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, let's do it now.
I like the tanginess of the cranberry. I like reflecting. I like all-time rock and roll, too. You know I do. I like NIL. I like my standard, very uninteresting haircut. I do like hearing people talk about how well it's going for the Padres. I like numbers. Oh, I like the bits. I like to be educational. I like when I get up, have a glass of cranberry juice cocktail. I like Adam Major. I do like butterscotch. I like your tweets a lot. I still like this deal. I like to live my life after another famous Benjamin Button. I like when the Padres take 2 of 3 from the Dodgers. I would have liked to have tried something else. I like Darren. I've always liked Darren. I like watching LeBron and Anthony Davis. Sex by the fire at night, that's what I like. Wow. I like Jake Cronenworth. The last couple of days, I've really liked his swings. I do like horses. I like the Padres lineup. I like when things just flow perfectly. But I like Indian food. I just like a good, honest answer. I've liked what I've seen from Donovan Solano so far. I like that idea. I like 18 games in 18 days. You know, I like where the Padres are. I like that we won as a team.
I do
all
too.
of us together. I like to picture people actually in a recording studio. I like the way the Padres play baseball. What I like is the variety of the wins.
Yeah.
I liked everything about this week.
I did too. Not really. But what is your obsession with cranberry juice?
I don't know. There's a lot of cranberry talk
this
lately.
month. Yeah. You like the tanginess of the cranberry, and then you like waking up
cranberry juice cocktail.
Is that a true? You do.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually only when I'm like on vacation. That's a vacation thing.
It's a vacation drink.
Yeah.
Not at home.
Not at home though.
Why not?
Well, it's just kind of empty calories and juice that I don't really need.
I love juice, man.
I know you like juice.
Juice is one
You're
of
the
my,
king of the morning beverages.
Juice is like my only vice left right now. It really is.
What would Frat Woods have said if you had told him that when you're 49, your last vice will be juice?
Grape juice, apple juice, orange juice. My vices.
Juice.
Isn't that pathetic? It's pathetic. Like I barely drink ever anymore. I've cut out sodas. What am I doing? What are we doing here? Juice. It's like, and when I drink it, I'm like, oh, you're dirty.
It used to. That is the funny thing because when you're growing up, your parents are like,
drink some juice.
It's healthy. It's good for you.
Yeah.
Now they've of course told us juice is basically just as bad as soda for you.
Yeah.
Just like it's just sugar.
So I've cut out the sodas, but I've upped my juice.
Don't drink any sort of juices. That's not good for you at all. It's like. Well, I didn't want to drink it when I was a kid because my parents wanted me to drink juice. It's like, no, I want high C or something.
Yes.
And now it's like, okay, I love to drink juice. And they go, no, now it's not good for you anymore.
High C with their 10% fruit juice.
10%. That's got to be 10% healthy,
right?
Got to
be 10% healthy.
High C or Minute Maid Punch?
High C.
High C.
Yeah, big
sweeter.
High C fan. And really, Hawaiian Punch was the king of all.
So sweet.
All king of kings. Hawaiian Punch.
A little bit of the tropical.
Remember the
flavor
can?
Pulp or no pulp?
I can do both.
No, I like no pulp.
I can do both.
No
medium pulp.
Well, I do both because I'm an adult. You know who else doesn't like pulp? Bo. He's 6.
I get it. That's one of my more.
We have to strain it out for him.
One of my more kiddish qualities.
Yeah, so I've
just feels like you like fingernails. Like
it is a little bit,
but
it's
in your mouth.
It also feels like this is
real.
This is real. This is fresh.
Right.
This is right from the orange.
So it is. So also it is when you strain it. Though.
Allegedly,
it's the same
yeah,
stuff.
It's true. It's true. All right, gents, have a great Labor Day.
All right, thank you very much. Everybody have a great holiday weekend. Be safe out there. We need all of you back here on Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. We'll have 4 games to talk about from the weekend. We'll have college football. We'll have an NFL season will be 2 days away. Yeah, it'll be a busy Tuesday for sure. Andy and Elston are coming up next for Paulie Reindl and Stephen Woods. I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Friday from all of us here at 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.